logged into Twitch because I'm and that clicking and general noises and coughing.
I thought you'd be taking the lead. I was going to say, my first sentence was going to be...
Your first sentence was going to be, and then you cut off. Are you still there?
I'm still here, sorry. It's because you started talking on my stream, which I'm watching now. What I was going to say is I was nearly worked out how to auto-host you, so it went live on my channel as well, but obviously I haven't got round to it yet.
There's like a
I'm gonna do it now.
There's a box, and you just put streamers' names in, and it hosts them down the list. It's really simple. And we do have some viewers. Hello, viewers.
What are you doing?
I am currently logged in as Ethelred because he hasn't put his team into... Which division are you actually in, by the way? Are you 1B?
1A.
No, you're 1B. Because I almost put you in the wrong division because...
But make sure you put the right team in, because the other one's like a super... That's the wrong team. That's the college team. It's got like 2 assassins in. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
Yeah, okay. Give me a chance. I forgot you were in tier 2. Anyway, so we started this and we were talking about how some coaches haven't entered their divisions yet. And one of those coaches was, of course, Ethelred.
Thinking about it, right? If I put the other team in that's very similarly named, do you think anyone would notice?
I think the answer is that your first opponent might notice, or possibly the fact that we're doing this on stream might mean someone notices.
And also the team that we've discussed for like the past 3 seasons is completely different as well. We'll be like, oh, Ethel, I didn't realise you had 2 assassins with SVP on your team. And 2 witches still. Yeah?
Would you actually rather this team? And 2 runners?
Have a look. You tell me. Look at the other team.
No doubles?
A bit more red on that one.
Yeah, and no doubles.
But if you notice, the Marquis de Sade is also at 8358.
And doesn't have Fen, so it's actually better.
You wouldn't believe how many times I've tried to work out how I can swap those players. Obviously I wouldn't do that.
Okay, so actually, I can do this from your login anyway, can't I? There's no reason not to. Now I think about it. All right, so we're going to do our pre-season look at the teams in the 3 divisions: champs, 1A and 1B, and we're going to start. I guess we'll start with 1B and work our way up. And there won't be all the teams in the division yet, so we might have to do some searching to find the ones that are missing.
There's some slackers, aren't there, who don't join their divisions on time?
Yeah, who wait until the last possible moment, and actually,
so they don't get scouted by nerds like us.
I mean, well, one of them's Andy, which we know isn't because he doesn't want to get scouted. Just definitely slackness. I can probably turn myself down. All right. So I am going to try and do 2 things at once, which is I'm going to be checking through who's missing from the OCC divisions, as I've just shown on screen, and I will mark them off, and then we'll have to search for them afterwards. Yeah. Okay. So the first team we're going to look at is Medieval's Horned Harassers, famously been around for a while, I think. Possibly one of the first few teams in the league. What's that? 298 games. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Which is a lot, obviously. Wait, 198 games. I'm sure they were more killy last time I saw them. The fact they've got 2 warriors with only block, but they have famously always had quite a few agi-ups. I think they even had like a couple of agi-up warriors at various points as well. Someone said that Division 1B was the team of elves and counted Medieval's Chaos team as an elf team, I think. Ooh, look at that. Agi 5, Strength 4, 2 heads Beastman. What do you think of that?
It's a disgrace.
So dodging in on dodging. So Agi 6 effectively. Agi 6 because of 2 heads.
6.
So
So
dodging
dodging into a cage on what?
a 3 plus. No, it's a 3
3
plus
plus.
still. But 3 plus to get a strength 5 hit on the ball is pretty good, I would argue.
Yeah, no tackle though.
I mean, just get 3. Just roll the dice. It's a 30% to get power anyway, right? There's enough tackle, and there's still 2 killers as well. So, or where the team's fully
He's
health
got-
3.
I can't see very well because I'm on a laptop screen, but is that 3 AG ups team?
Yes. So there's 2 beastmen with. So there's the first beastman has agi, block, sure hands, tackle, and kick.
Obviously.
Obviously. Yeah. I'd like kick off return if he's the ball. He's the main ball
Kick
picker
off return.
upper.
But perhaps Medieval was drunk and thought kick and kick off return because they're both general skills, aren't they? So
Yeah.
perhaps he misclicked.
They do look very dissimilar though. But anyway, and then carrying on these slightly odd skill choices, Amak, who also has agi up, also has block, got a double and took nerves of steel. And then so he's agi 4 ready, but he could have taken dodge to go with the agi 4.
Yeah, or big hand.
I know
It would have helped with retrievals, right?
mutations are free anyway, right? They're chaos.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And then took more extra heads, so another agi 5 player effectively, and then guard. I mean, this should totally be dodge. That kind of, I don't like that. But fine. Who's to say if it's right or wrong? The rest of the team, other than these 3, the rest of the team looks pretty standard, right?
Yeah. What's the is that a niggle on the top warrior, or is that just the AG and an armor break?
Just the double agi and the armor break, because they normally agi 3, right? But yeah, like that's not even that bad, right? And the armor's still 8.
That's fine. He's not going to be, okay. He's not carrying the ball, but fine.
I mean, he's already a legend, so you don't really need to give him the ball, right? He just stands there and punches things. And is that the same with the movement bust one? Hey, Cryofan, got a couple of minutes to watch.
I can't. Yeah, it's his blue text on your blue screen is really hard to read, but yeah, I guess you can see the chat. Welcome.
Ooh. Oh, I can't change that here right now. I'm not going to anyway. There is a niggle on Mill, and there's an Agibust skillless beastman, both of which I don't think are really worth keeping, but maybe lack of money. He's only got 50k. He's going to go into his first game with 13 players.
It's not a horrendous chaos team, mainly because he's built it very much around those AG ups, hasn't he? So he hasn't really got as many killers, but he still has got killers.
I mean, this is when all the players are on the pitch. If you like, there's 2 MNGs, right? The 2 MNGs would make this team 2,200. So that's quite a lot. But yeah, it's not a death kill team.
I can see why they were counted as elves. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like more dodge though, like especially when you got the opportunity there. Okay, next is your team.
Yes.
Which we've all seen before a few times. Marquis de Sade, movement up, agi up, sure hands, leap, dodge, and of course bend and niggled at the moment. And Mighty Bow, tackle, blood step, Leo, whatever his name is. Caligula, the blood step diving tackle, dark elf. Edward Sellen, who's just got blodge at the moment. Yeah. Venus in Furs, also blodge step, tackle, fend, plus strength. A niggled lineman, who I think should be fired. But I say, I wait to make those. We wait to make that decision. To see what we wait to see what the first game is before actually firing them, right?
Yeah. I'll probably, to be honest, he'll probably play in the next game anyway, because that takes me. I've got 12 at the moment. I did buy another lineman at the end of the season. He's number 14.
It's still an elf.
Yeah, he's still an elf, and if he doesn't die next game, then yeah, he'll probably be retired.
Once you have 70k basically to replace him.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 60k, so I should get enough after the first game. I mean, what will probably happen is he'll get MVP, so that'll be a waste of 5 SPP. But
yeah,
I'd rather have 12 going into the first game, I think, rather than 11. So.
Well, it'll depend on who your first opponent is, right? If their TV is high enough to give you inducements, which it looks like is unlikely, as no one in the division so far actually has a TV higher than yours. So well,
great. Well, at least I'll get a wizard for my home games.
Yes, so you have a wizard stadium now. That's a great idea. Whoever suggested that is a genius.
It is a great idea, but then the mix of elves in this division this season maybe got me thinking.
Everyone gets wizard every game.
Yeah, but you're the higher division. You're the higher tier. If you're the higher TV team, they were getting a wizard anyway, right? That's going to be their first pick of inducement. So,
and to be honest, I quite like. Even though I only had played a couple of games with the wizards, I think you played more actually with it, but. Quite like the dynamic both two wizards adds. It makes the game's very much different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it actually increases the chance to be a high scoring game because, I do think the reaction to a wizard. I don't hate it when people score quickly to avoid getting wizarded. And if it works, hey, I heard you say hi, Sylphin, but hello, Sylphin. We are actually looking at your division, aren't we? But anyway.
The Sylphin's division is 1A.
In 1A.
Wait, who's... Oh, no, I'm getting mixed up between Wood Elf teams, aren't I? Anyway, whatever.
The Wood Elves.
Yeah.
They look the same.
Oh, do you know who the other person who hasn't put his team in yet? Bloody Dreamland Slacker. Damn it.
God damn it.
No, we're starting with 1B and we're gonna work backwards up to 1A and then champs. I'm literally messaging him now.
Yeah, and
so we talked about your team enough, right? Oh, I guess we didn't look. No.
Nothing to say.
Yeah.
About my team, really.
Same mold.
I'm confident. I'm going to get to the champs, though. I reckon it's going to be my season.
Are you going on holiday for 8 weeks of the season again?
Yeah.
Yes. Your team looks the same for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's good though. That means no one's died.
Yeah, I mean, things have died, but they've been the unimportant things, right? They've been the low SPP linemen.
Big question for me is, do I get another witch? And I think we've talked about the answer to that being no at the moment. So yeah, it's going to stay the same. I'm not going to get a runner. I'm not going to get an assassin.
I think you should. I do like the idea of elves having. Well, I generally like having more bench, right? So buying more players, and then you can actually protect the witches. So having 2 witches after you've got more than just 12 players, I think is not a terrible idea. So taking up to 13, and then if you want to take runners as well, that's fine. And hopefully by the time you've got runners, you don't have room for the assassin, so it's fine.
I get that. I want to get the
develop runners and witches. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to get the bench up first. I want to get to at least 13.
Yeah. So next team is Cat Mathis's Kingdom of Swadia. Previous champions, at some point. A while ago, I assume, right? It's been a few seasons now. With 1 agi up, dodge, leader blitzer. 1 strength up, sidestep, fend, sure hands, guard. Unfortunate ordering of levels there. I'm not sure I would have picked the same things if the strength and the guard had happened earlier. And 1 just normal dodge, tackle, blitzer, and 1 unskilled. All the yeomen, the blockers, have guard. 3 of them also have dodge, which is pretty sweet. I feel like if you're going to go dodge and guard, then stand firm should be somewhere on your list. I'm not a fan of the mighty blow tackle.
Yeah, They've got strength access as well, haven't they, from the off? So
Yeah.
there's no reason not
Yeah,
to
but
choose
you
Danton.
also want a killer blocker since the blitzers don't get mighty blow on
Uh,
normals.
I think he did previously have a Mighty Blow Blitzer, who obviously has died. So maybe that's why he doesn't have quite as much might. I guess having one Mighty Blow is fine, but wrestle, dodge, stand firm is pretty annoying, right? And with guard as well, I think it's and Brett's are a really positional team, right? The blitzers all end up getting sidestep, the linemen all starting with fend, and the blockers having access to stand firm, I think is strong.
That's the only buff they got on the new Blood Bowl 3 team.
Yeah.
It's that they all have stand firm.
And offensively, Imperial Nobility are kind of dog shit, but defensively, getting past 4 wrestle, stand firm yeoman is really problematic.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a good skill choice. And in fact, I think it's a better skill choice than taking a bunch of tackle when you're probably wanting to hit more with your blockers.
Depends on what his divisions were when he picked those skills.
Yeah, fair as well. Yeah, and also his team makeup. I guess if you haven't managed to get tackle on your blitzers, then you might want to do that. But I do like stand firm. Anyway, has a Knuffle Altar, which I think in this division is going to come in useful, as I think with all the elves, there's only 1 or 2 teams that could actually come out as a lower TV.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of Griff.
What's his TV going to be when that MNG's back? Is it 1610? Is it something similar?
Yeah, that player's like
270, isn't he? I think.
270, Jesus.
270. So 1620. Yeah.
Well, he's better than Azara, so I don't guess.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's the same price.
Same stat line, but with catch. Oh, also it's Dauntless, just like Zara has, and sidestep and fend. Yeah, much better than Zara, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
So worth it considering.
Yeah, and even without him, it's a solid low TV team, right? So.
Yeah.
Quite scary, actually.
All right.
For elf is it's an LT elf team all the way.
Yeah,
might not be do as good.
I guess that is one of the advantages of tackle over stand firm, is the elves are not going to be trying to punch you out of the way quite as much as dodge away, maybe.
Yeah, no dirty player. That's the only thing missing from the team.
Yeah, I mean the peasants look like they've died a lot. Only having 3 peasants is
it's low, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe the other players means that the other players dying means you don't have
they die a
cash.
lot.
Yeah. I do think Brett's really need a bench, like massively. Anyway, next team, Dalibors, Dark Elves, who stayed in the same division.
Came from champs, right?
Or were they dropped down? Did they drop down? I forgot. But yeah,
I think so.
they've been around. 11 Dark Elves. They have a strength up witch and plus movement to go with it. Mighty Blow and Juggernaut. I like the combination of. I like Jugs on a witch. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? This elf team, better than mine.
It was a lot stronger last season. It's had a lot of players die. Although I wonder if some of it might have just trimmed some blokes. It had more stat ups, but actually this still looks like a pretty scary Dark Elf team, right? All the blodge and rodge and the sidestep and a couple of guarders. It would kind of be better if the other witch was the one with Jugs. Because, for the one turning, she's probably the one that you're trying to push through.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... it's the thing, you go movement or sidestep at the end. Because that's a killer witch. That isn't supposed to be a scoring one. I would probably score better with the Blitzer, which has agility and leap and sure feet.
I mean, the fact she's legend means you don't really want to actually score on her anymore, right?
Yeah.
But the move helps her be a threat. And also, more importantly, I think the move helps for protecting her. Like, she can do her blitz and still get back behind a screen, hopefully.
Yeah, that helps.
That helps.
Oh, right. Is that what you meant to do?
Yeah, that is what you're supposed to do.
I would also give sidestep to the first blitzer instead of sure feet. I don't get that choice a lot.
Again, more movement helps, right? So it's getting the ball forward. I don't hate it. It's also got leap, right? And the team's got enough sidestep.
There's not. There's never enough sidestep. Not to annoy my opponent.
Yeah, it is annoying. That is true.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna pick wrestle on the second witch if it's a normal?
Yeah, I assume so. That's the usual way that a lot of coaches go is one block, one wrestle. I think he plays Dark Elves in a lot of different places. I think including CCL. I think he's had some CCL Dark Elf runs.
I don't know what would stop you picking wrestle on that witch, apart from a stat. And out of all the stats, probably only movement or agility.
Stat or a double.
What?
Or strength, actually.
Yeah. Basically any role that isn't normal. But other than those things,
jugs. When you go jugs first, but first skill though. I mean,
yeah, I would.
You want wrestle first, don't you?
Well, I mean, also
jugs first.
She's 9 SPP, right? So she's only got to score twice and get one pass. You can do that in a game.
Okay.
You know,
or get 30 player on that lineman. It's like the only thing missing in this team.
I think another wrestler. I think he builds 3 wrestlers for the LOS. That's why they don't have dodge because they're getting punched by tacklers sometimes. So I think that's LOS fodder.
Seems legit.
Yeah. He has enough money to buy another player as well, which I like 12 players.
Yeah, but it's the thing. If he has only 90k, does he want to spend the money on alignment in case a positional dies in the next game? Or is that kind of...
I think I remember playing him and him not taking a bench when I thought he should against me in UK BBL maybe, but no, I can't remember exactly. He might stick with 11. I do prefer 12 though. And the Vincent Price All Stars, did they go down to tier 3 and that's why we tier 2 and we stopped doing his division? But we definitely seen Bob a few times.
Yeah, we've seen Bob a few times. And in the OCC Discord, he was saying that he was looking forward to this season, especially because his killer whites had both died. So
yeah,
he's looking forward to pushing elves around the pitch.
He's got 2 lovely fresh whites there on the team. One with 5 SVP and the other one with 0. I mean, I guess the plus armor mummy, the plus armor is working.
Yeah, he's still around.
And not been fired yet. And
did he ever properly explain why? Yeah, he picked strength on the mummy.
You mean armor?
Sorry.
Like, so the other choices are bad, right? So your choice, like, if it's not a double, right? If it was a double, I think he specifically said it would be block, right? So it's not a double. It was a normal. It was a 4 and a 6. Your choices are movement, armor, or another normal, and he's already run out of all the good normals with stand firm and guard, in my opinion. But
it's movement all the way.
I think it's movement.
I don't care. I don't think either of them are that great. They're both better than a normal.
Like the difference between undead mummies and Camry Tomb Guardians, it's abysmal when you play them enough. Jesus. I just have something that can get up and move 1 square is huge.
I mean, yes, but you know, it's also an undead team, so the supporting players are so much better, right? It's mummies and like personally, I would fire this player because 230k, even if he was movement 4, is not
absolutely.
He's not being valuable
there. Without a double, I would have sacked him as well at probably 50.
He gets
56?
Then he gets
51.
51.
I mean, personally, I would go earlier than that.
16.
Like, yeah, maybe even 16, maybe 31. Like 31 at the latest, basically.
He's 100k upload at this point.
I mean, maybe it depends also on your opponents and what TVs they are, and choosing the right time as well to a certain. And when you have the money to replace him, right? So you're not going to get rid of him and then and then not have a mummy
Yeah,
I
for a
think
down
it's
while.
a good
mummy,
division
yeah.
to fire him, basically.
He's got enough money now. He could fire him and get a brand spanking new one, and wouldn't really be missing that much, to be quite honest.
No, this team has a lot of TV in the zombies as well. That's kind of like almost like there's one ghoul with strength, one ghoul with a bunch of stats, and then all the other level ups are on movement 5, 4, and 3 players.
Should he prioritize getting more goals again? Because only 2 is a little. It's not that much.
Yeah.
I quite like waiting till one of them getting the plus strength one to at least blodge or
Block
rodge.
or wrestle. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be definitely buying a third ghoul by now, I think, or like after the first game. I guess again depends on TV. I mean, that is the thing. Like, wait. So look at this. Look, so that mummy, his skills are costing you 90k, 110k.
A bribe, basically.
Or a ghoul and a zombie combined in skills on a mummy that's probably getting stuck somewhere around the middle of the pitch and not really doing very much. Can you afford to replace and get both the mummy and the ghoul though?
No.
No. Yeah, I'd buy the ghoul and not replace the mummy.
Yeah. Since the white is MNG, it needs all the ball handling you can get.
And I'm not sure about this wrestle, kick, tackle zombie either. I guess,
Yeah. Like, he has kick, I don't mind keeping him, I guess. And the other one has guard, it's... At high TV, I don't see, like...
when the guard one leveled, instead of fend, he should have taken kick and fired the other one.
Probably, yes. That's probably... That's a good take.
But yeah, such is life.
But also,
Fend.
it's the only tackle PC has now.
Yeah. That is true. Okay, good point. But your only tackle piece being movement 4, agility 2, probably not ideal.
Probably. But a lot of things in this team are not ideal.
So we said block or wrestle on Lionel Grisbane. Which would you choose on a strength 4 ghoul?
I would choose block and make him like an annoying ball carrier for strength 3 teams.
I think block, because with wrestle he's going to be down, and you don't want to go like that down because they're going to get stamped on.
I want wrestle because I want him to be the ball sacker. Right? He's potentially getting 2 dice on a lot of ball carrying targets. Wrestle, tackle, strip would be my choices for him. I mean, like,
there's 2 archetypes here: the ball carrier strength 4 that Giraffe has, or a ball sacking that's not good at diving cages but can get them off guard, I guess.
I mean, it's not great for diving cages, but it's better than, like, ghouls are better at that than almost every other player on the undead team, right? So it's as good as you're going to get, and with the strength up, I think you're more likely to win games by sacking than win games by having a strength 4 ball carrier. Personally,
depends on the playstyle.
I mean, undead should be able to protect the ball well enough to not need the strength 4 and ball carrier. And there's also the fact that he's already got a movement 8, sure hands, lodge stepping ball carrier, right? So, like, do you want the same thing again? And he's also gone the ear lice route and taken sprint first, but extra movement or extra failures.
Yeah, I mean,
GFIs.
I'd be interested to see if Bob scored any 1-turns with that player, because that's set up for a 1-turn now, isn't it? That guy.
Like, that's why I don't really like it. Like, once you've got, I don't like he's the ball picker upper. He's not the one. If you're going for 1-turns, he needs sprint, sure feet, which I like. So that would be the choices after movement 8. But then as soon as you're taking sure hands, like sidestep and kick off return, rather than, for me, would be the and even sure feet over sprint, right?
I agree. I think Bob's had a change of plan for that player, and he I like to think that Bob's picked sure hands unconsciously, and then thought about it and thought, oh, actually, that's not a great pick. He should have gone sprint, sure feet after movement, not sure hands. But
I mean, or maybe, you know, it's important to have at least one sure hands player on a team against strip ballers, right? Maybe. So, you know, maybe he was doing.
Or maybe he did have another goal that filled that function, but it died, and he needed sure hands for his next game. I mean, that's another possibility, isn't it? Yes.
Okay, so next is Ilton's Wood Elves. Right. Okay, so it says 1190 on their TV, but that is because 3 of the players are not turning up for the first game, and that includes both War Dancers, which is hilarious.
Please let me play them first.
They do have a movement 9 guard catcher and another normal catcher for their first game, and a movement 1 tree with grab, guard, and multi-block. I guess fine.
Well, I guess it makes no difference to the stand-up roll, does it? Movement 1.
No, it doesn't. It is.
That's a lot of TV for a
yeah. It is
lamppost, isn't it?
Yeah, it is surprisingly annoying though when you're like clicking around and you discover they're going to move 1 square at a time. Though, Jesus. I guess.
Have you played these guys?
What, against him? Yes, I definitely have.
1 tree.
But not.
Point.
No, he did not. No. I think that I have a feeling. Yeah, I assume it wasn't. Well, it's obviously been in the last season.
Was the incentive? Sorry.
Go on. Sorry.
I was just asking if the incentive to get to tier 1 was after the team went on vacation.
I think he was in tier 1 either the season before last or the season before that. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. He jumped. He played against Jump All Stars eventually also.
Yeah. So that must have been the season. That was the season before last, right? Oh no, I haven't played him. Sorry, I was wrong.
Who was his last opponent that made them?
The Horned Harassers. Oh no, wait. Is that the horrific Horned Harassers? Isn't that the admin team? Yeah, it's the admin. That was an admin game. So it might even be Dreamland's Gassy Gang.
Oh, that makes sense.
So yeah.
No, that's not a Nurgle that's in my division. That's.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I'd sack that tree. Movement 1. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, he does have the money to replace him, right? He has exactly 120.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time.
Like next game, probably not, because I don't know. Like Wood Elves.
I mean, it does.
He's not going to lose his dancers, is he? This game, his next game. So his dancers are safe for his second game. So.
I mean, like he's got 5 players for his next game, right? He's going to have 6 loners, so that's what 420, right?
No, he's going to have 5 loners. He has 6 players. If he doesn't.
Oh yeah, sorry, I miscounted. Sorry, I apologize. So he's getting 350 inducement. So his TV is actually 540. Yeah.
Yeah. Or less. Yeah.
That's the wrong person.
it's 540.
Yeah. So Will being 60k lower and replacing the tree and getting a movement better actually help in his next game if his TV's relatively low.
Depends who he's playing, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean against Ethel, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's better to
against another elf team, absolutely not worth it. But if he does play a bash team, then it would probably be worth it then.
He can probably die against the bash team. You never know. Just the problem solves itself.
Yeah. But an okay team when he actually has all his players, which is the story. Like, so the missing players, as well as the 0 SVP War Dancer, there's also a Mighty Blow Tackle Strip War Dancer, which is pretty nice. Let's just make sure he's not niggled.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it a niggle he's got?
No, it's just MNG. Yeah, it's fine.
It's a shame.
There is a movement 7 Blodge Step Diving Tackle Shadowing Catcher.
Jesus.
Movements like I had a shadowing movement 7 player. It's actually all right. They are actually annoying for bash teams to deal with.
It's got DT as well.
Yeah. And Diamond Tackle isn't affected by the move bust, obviously. Yeah.
We had a whole discussion about it last season.
Yeah. So the team will be probably pretty sweet when all the players are back, and when that tree is replaced. I would argue because he's also got a strength 4 lineman. That's nice.
But tough first game, I think.
I don't know. You know, elves with the wizard always have a chance, right? Okay, and the last team that's actually made it in are the Blackwatch Zulu 501s. Brett's team, the other Brett. Wow, this is looking like a better Brett team already. Look at this. Plus strength, mighty blow, tackle, dodge, jump up, blitzer. After taking jump up and rolling, like, do you actually take the strength or do you take piling on? I take piling on here, right? Like, it's double.
Yeah.
You've taken jump up already, maybe. He's got another blitzer who's also tackle, dodge, mighty blow, agi up, leap, which I like as a threat, but maybe I think I still prefer sidestep over leap, but you know, either's good. A sure hands leader, sidestep, bend, which I think is a good combination, ball carrier and all that. Although ironically, the player with sure hands is one of the 2 blitzers who doesn't have agi up, and an agi up, guard, movement up, dodge, blitzer. That's a nice set of rolls there. Managed to roll 11 double 10 before he even had a chance to get dodge.
Jesus.
But has lost a point of armor. But still, not bad.
Well, deservedly so after that luck.
Yeah.
It's basically an elf now.
He's a war dancer with guard.
Yeah.
Just needs leap.
Sleep.
Yep. 4 blockers, 2 of them with no skills. 1 with mighty blow, guard, stand firm, which I like, and also an agi bust and armor bust. Don't like quite as much. And another with another agi up, guard, stand firm, which is nice.
Stand firm, yeah. He's subscribing to your stand firm guard idea, isn't he?
I think I like that a lot. And also, 2 mobile guarders, so 2 agi 4 guarders is pretty sweet. And another
Those
guard.
are the best.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Those are the best blitzers in all of OCC. Basically, Bretts, I guess.
I think that's a pretty good.
That's a scary prospect.
Yeah, all of them superstars. None of them quite legends yet, but the ball carriers potentially going to get there this season.
Yeah, he's not far off, is he? 30 or so SPP.
It's also a good team to go against elves.
Making notes for my fantasy football league here. Yeah, I think one or maybe 2 of those blitzers will be in my team, I think.
It's champs only full.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Champs only.
Just to keep the player pool a bit more controllable.
Yeah, just the first.
People bid against each other.
For the first season, right? But like it will definitely expand the player base when there are more people bidding, right? But that's the combination of only champs and only 8 coaches, right, to make it work. And his club, he doesn't actually have a stadium enhancement.
On that note, that ping means I'm late for a meeting, so I'm going to shoot. But yeah, I'll watch it later. But yeah, these guys, I'll see you later.
See ya. All right, so we have one of the teams I think who hasn't joined the division are actually going to be in this league, and that is the Silver Lords of Outmar, which is Gimlick's team, right? So if I type in Gim here, yes. So one of the other teams is 1400 High Elves with a tackle, mighty blow, piling on, jump up blitzer, a normal blitzer, a natural 1-turner called Galentio, much to your love.
Yes.
Another catcher who's also got movement 9, but blodge, step, and guard, which is pretty sweet. And then 2 young catchers who both have blodge and rodge.
It's a good IF team if you think about it. Like only the Blazer needs like maybe dodge.
I mean,
so it's not vanilla, but
and all three of the what I would call linemen, but one of them's really a thrower, have guard or a strength up. So like the entire team is pretty much positionals or useful players. He has no LOS players at all.
LOS is the loners.
Yeah, LOS is yeah. So he will get 3 loners for the first game. But yeah, if his entire team is here, he's actually in a bit of trouble for who goes on the LOS. Well, I guess you're putting the thrower. Maybe catchers. Maybe I guess the blitzer, the skillless blitzer, I guess goes on the LOS.
Yep.
And what the guard? One of the guard thrower or the guard lineman with block? Either of them.
The thrower is too nice to put in the LOS. Jesus.
Yeah, this is definitely a case of having too many project players, isn't it?
Yep. They're like all of them are half done, but they're still good players.
Yeah, because all those 3 bottom players want SPP. That blitzer wants SPP. Those 2 catchers probably want more SPP.
You have like 5 players that you want to defend with a team.
Yeah, while there are 2 movement up players who are probably stealing all the SPP that you want to get to the other players.
But they're also the ones that bail you out when things get tough.
Yeah. And I think he's got an amazing record. 31, twice the wins. Almost no draws, so he doesn't do drawing. And no enhancements at all.
It's like,
nice team.
Like me.
Yeah. Now I think the other two teams that aren't in this aren't in their division yet are actually in the oh my god, I'm in can I do this? No, I can't. Damn it. I think there we are, this will do. So I think the other 2 will be in tier 2 teams. So we've got Dreamland's Gassy Gang. So Dreamland famously has had a problem keeping Nurgle warriors alive. Yep. He said he's fixed that problem. They still die, but it's the 0 SPP ones who die at the moment, so it's fine. Yeah. But he does have a Stand Firm Guard Beast, which is nice. A Blodge Guard Warrior, a Block Guard Warrior, and 2 no SPP Warriors. Plus
killer groups.
A plus Strength, Block, Mighty Blow, Claw, Tackle Pestigore with a Niggle, who he's been talking about replacing with other killers. I thought he was going to fire him, but clearly he's not been, not had the right opportunities to, because he still has he now has a Block, Mighty Blow, Claw piling on player, but hasn't fired. I guess he's keeping the strength.
He's like that goat in this tier. It's amazing against elves.
Yeah, so, I mean it's a great player. It's just it's a bit scary against the bash teams if bash teams get hits on him, right?
Well, it's just an eagle. I would still keep him. He's strength 4 horns. Jesus. Yeah. Like he can blitz a Saurus, for example, and not care.
He also has a Wrestle Tackle Frenzy Pestigore, which I really like. Will be interesting to see what direction he goes after the fight. Does he go Jugs next for extra surfing, or does he go is he lucky enough to get a double and maybe get a leap if he's supposed to be a sacker?
Depends a lot. But
I mean, 2 heads could work as well. Dodge.
Yeah, 2 heads could work. What more could work? Not much more.
I mean, strip is
strip.
Possible.
But, yeah, but if you're already blitzing with frenzy, strip is not as good.
I quite like stand firm to go with the frenzy as well. So you can do blitzes and leave yourself on sidelines. And also I like Mighty Blow's always good with frenzy because you're getting more hits. And guard, because you can do weird things with frenzy guard where you frenzy the guard into a place you want it to go. Like it's with the Khorne team, it's really good when you have lots of guard and they end up like infiltrating the opposition team, if that makes sense. Pestigore with sure hands, so obviously will be the ball carrier, and that will hopefully get him lots of SVP in the future. 4 rotters, 2 of them with injuries one of them has got wrestle already and another level up, but has also got strength bust. So I'm assuming he's not going to actually play another game. I would fire a strength 3 rotter.
Yep.
A Niggled's dirty player, but I guess like if you're fouling with him fast enough, it's not a problem.
Yeah, it's rotters. They're gonna die if they get injured. So what's the point of an eagle even?
I mean, so you're saying Niggles are acceptable because they're just going to die anyway? Like,
yeah, DK will kill them. So having an eagle is not at the end of the world. Like
that's
he'll die the next time he gets injured. That's fine.
The trouble is they're a lot more likely to leave the pitch as well, right? So
Yes.
this is a dirty player guard double niggled
But he has
rotter.
guard.
He has guard. Does having guard make up for the fact that he's what like I don't even know. So double niggled and like, even on a normal armor break, he's got like a 58. He's got like close to 60% chance of just leaving the pitch, right?
He's gonna give the guard and then sacrifice for it. Yes.
Like 6% as opposed to 40% if he was a fresh rotter. Like I think that's a big change, isn't it? In my opinion.
It's also a player that you don't mind falling with, which is good. So.
Yeah, I guess maybe you could just buy more and then protect the niggled ones, but do not like all these injuries. I would fire. And also, you should be killing opponents and getting new rotters anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the other team that hasn't gone into 1B yet is Raisin, who is Dark Elves, a third Dark Elf team in this division. The Dark Stripes, an Agi up Witch Elf with block and tackle is the first thing that I see. A Strength up Blitzer with also Mighty Blow, hasn't got around to getting dodge yet, which is this team looks pretty young.
How many games has he played?
2 seasons, 15 wins, 8 losses, 4 draws. That's a pretty good record.
He's already in tier 1? No, that's 3 seasons.
No, it's 2. Oh no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's 3. Sorry. 3. Yes, it is 3, you're right.
Yeah.
Can't.
Okay, that explains why he's in tier 1. 2 seasons on tier 1, I was like, well, how the hell did you achieve that?
Double promotions maybe, but no. Yeah, the team looks maybe undercooked.
Yeah, the team is definitely undercooked. And it's a burner account? The coach is only level 11?
I mean, they could actually be a new coach, right?
Or they changed their name recently. I did that once. So.
What, you can actually change your name? Or you mean they opened a new account?
You open a new cyanide account, basically.
But yeah, so you can open 3 accounts with the same once you bought Blood Bowl.
I'm missing like 100 games on mine now because I used to go by another name.
So this Dark Elf team that have played 26 games is a third of his total played games. He's also played 21 games with Vampires, 18 games with Norse, and 3 games with Nurgle.
So he's a mad lad.
He's maybe just trying out things. I don't know.
Trying leader dodge on alignment.
Yeah, so the leader dodge, when you have a runner who has access to leader without making a doubles, is a choice.
It's a net scratcher, yes.
Yeah. And it's his 4-3 roll, so that's also interesting.
Is it the case of medium fish on a small pond in terms of the tiers below tier 1?
Yeah, possibly. So maybe and some very good level ups, right? Maybe the level ups have really helped get him to his win rate.
Even then, like for the TV, it's not an impressive team, I guess. He can do some things with it, but the blitzers should all be leveled by now. And he has like some of the players have died also.
Yeah, either that or you're right. Maybe he's not, what's the word? Prioritizing the right elves.
Well, he has a thrower essentially. Like, but I would take pass over accurate.
And
maybe he wants to dump off.
And not dodge, like dodge over block as well for movement around.
And if you want to make dump off more accurate, you just get nerves of steel.
I mean, you want pass first, right? Pass would actually be the better choice because you can use pass on the opponent's turn.
Depends. If you want to make dump off more reliable, nerves of steel. If you want a thrower, you get pass. Yes.
No, I disagree.
Disagree?
Yeah, so if you're dumping off, you'll usually have like 1 or 2 tackle zones, right? So nerve. Let's say you have two. For the sake of argument, and for nerves of steel to be good, you need 2 or more tackle zones on you for it to be worthwhile. So 2 would mean you'd be passing on a 4+, right?
50-50.
So 50-50, but with pass it'd be 25. It would be a 75% chance, right?
But we nerves of steel would be a
2+, so it'd be slightly better. Yeah.
83%.
I still prefer pass, but because sometimes there'll only be 1 tackle zone, and yeah.
But it's like it's the eternal dark elf mentality. I'm gonna go break the meta. I'm gonna be the innovator. Get leader on a lineman. Get accurate on the on a runner.
Sylphin says chances are you will have 2 tackle zones on you. I mean, but then he says I also favour pass because it works. Every time you pass is helpful. Only when you're in tackle zones does nerves of steel help, and it's only better than pass when you have 2 tackle zones, which may be the case quite often with dump off, but won't be the case with any other passes you make.
Yeah, but also, how many times do you get to discuss leveling a runner past level 2 or 3?
I mean, they level quite once you get a few skills on them, they level quite quickly. Like that is also one of the great things about dump off, right? You can actually gain SPP in the opponent's turn. Just hang your runner out there and make vanity passes on your opponent's turn. That would be great.
Yes, while your opponent blitzes an armor 7 player.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Genius.
Fine.
Genius.
I mean, it's slightly, but it actually does make a difference, right? You do actually get SPP in opponent's turns surprisingly often. But yeah, all right, fine. And then he dies from blocks. Yeah, I guess maybe you have to take Blodge first for that to be a viable option, and then the passes fail more often.
Lineman with Blodge.
Yeah, I mean, like playing with dump off is still hilarious. Like, is one of my, it's one of the ways to make Blood Bowl a lot more fun. Really, confusing.
Annoy someone.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's not a bad team though, but it's still undercooked in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely undercooked, and it will suffer from that this season. I would be surprised if not like a third of the team dies, basically.
Now you've taken the leader, I wouldn't get rid of it, but I might fire a reroll. Save yourself some TV. Go down to 1610.
I think this is a roll dice team, so he wants all the rerolls he can get, basically. He wants to go in with AG5 and just dodge a bunch and then steal the ball.
That's plausible.
Some crazy dice.
Yeah.
And get away with it, basically.
I wonder if he'll take sure hands on the blitzer eventually. Hopefully after dodge. That's 1B done. We're not like I feel like because not everyone's there, it's hard for us to guess who's going to win and stuff.
Just show me the team size. Like the last 2 teams we saw, I don't think they're going to win it. It's probably Dreamland, but he's not. I think his team is not ready to go to champs.
So here I put up the list of teams on the thing. So on the OCC.
Okay.
Actually thinking about the teams, right? It's not a hard division, is it? It's like.
Yeah, I wish I was in this tier.
Yeah.
No, I got the murder kill again. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I reckon these 4 coaches here are the real. The real 4 fighting for the thing, right? So
the Count Matus, Talibor, Gimlik are the most likely, I think.
Dreamland's a good coach as well, right? And like his team looks solid now. Has a couple of
And
killers.
Ethelred, if he plays like he played the last 2 games of the last.
Yeah. And Sylphin says, yes, I too wished I was in this division.
Yeah, we'll die together, Sylphin, don't worry. We'll be 5-6 loners a game buddies.
Yeah. I'm going to go as far as saying that Mathis comes top, Dalibor second. No, sorry. Gimlick comes top, Dalibor second, Mathis third. That would be my. In fact, I'm gonna.
I think it depends on the. I think the first depends on the who wins the direct confrontation between Dalibor and Gimlick. The rest is just. I think Dreamland is gonna be middle of the pack. His team is not ready for champs.
Well, I mean, then the fact that Gimlick has a natural one turner gives him quite the advantage,
Yeah.
right?
But he doesn't have sure fit. It's still true 3 2+. We have Samba here.
Yeah, it's about 50%. It's a bit less than 50%, I think.
Yeah, it's not that great.
Oh, there you go. It's 50%. But
I think Dalibor is gonna be first and Gimlick second. I have a feeling.
So we both go for the same ones, just the other way
But
around.
reversed. Yeah. And I think Count Mathis will be third. But we also have the Racers, which is a kind of scary team for this division. For the rest of them. Who knows?
I'm going to put Dreamland being third, just to be different from you.
Dreamland going with that team to champs will be the end of the team.
And obviously, if we have to pick a loser, then obviously Ethelred is my loser of the division.
I think the loser of the division is gonna be Bob. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Bob.
fair.
No, Raisin. It's gonna be Raisin.
Really? I mean, like.
I think it's gonna be over his head.
Okay.
I think Raisin will be last, followed by Bob.
I think he's a bit of a dark horse. I find it hard to say he's going to be the loser, whereas Bob, I think that team, could really struggle, right? Okay.
Yeah, Sylphin, I feel that.
OCC.
I didn't even think what tier I got. I just, like, a lot of things can, like, it's not all dependent to us. It goes to 1A, so it's just fate. We're just screwed. But we'll see. We'll see 1A next. I don't know if I have time to see Shams with you, so maybe you want to do a night stream for Shams.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm fine with that. But yeah, quick. Let's do now. Ethel, Ethel may just take a long time over 1B, I think, because he wants to talk about himself too much. So hopefully we'll do 1A quicker.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe it's gonna be kill team. Galentio, Sylphin will die. Done. Next season.
All right. So yes, kill. Yeah, you're right. There are a lot more kill teams. Did that right?
I'm just laughing because I'm nervous, I guess.
All right.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get a lot of endorsements, I guess. That's gonna be fun.
All right, so first team is Hillnick's bunch of gamers. We've seen this team before. They were in champs at one point, and then he lost a lot of players and took a lot of injuries. I still feel like the injuries hold his team back quite a lot, even though he's even though it's a really good looking team, right?
I hope I get this team in the next game because the Wolf is MNG, but
Yeah.
and the goal.
Claw Pom Wolf.
Lucky the person that gets this player next game, basically.
This team next, yeah. The claw pomming Blodge Wolf is out. Tackle Blodge. Does have movement and armor busts, but
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter that much.
It's still a game-changing piece.
A vaguely fresh werewolf
Mm-hmm.
who's on Blodge, which probably means he played the whole of last season.
A good
No,
flesh golem.
he's
with
played
strength
five matches. Yeah, he's got a strength 5 golem, with grab, break, tackle, guard, mighty blow, and block.
I
Obviously,
would get him tackle instead of the grab last, but oh well. That's me.
yeah, it's fine. Grab's really kind of useful though. It's like surprisingly useful, and he's got strength 5 anyway. So, and you've got, you know, 2 other guard players around, so he gets 3 dice quite a lot, I think. The other golem has blodge, which is pretty irritating if you don't take a lot of tackle.
Yep.
As well as guard, mighty blow, and tackle.
But he's also movement 3.
He's also movement 3 and armor value 8, but I guess armor value 8 is not even that bad, right?
Yeah.
And then there is another strength up on this white, who is also blodge, and stand firm and guard.
Jesus.
So basically, it's like another lower armor, but another fleshy, right? The
Yep.
3, like if you give the 3 of them a chance to stand in the middle of the pitch and be annoying, they will be really annoying, right?
This is a multiple killer with multiple stand from blodge pieces. It's
Yeah, against my
So-
Norse team, like full of frenzy, it's not fun. I can tell you that.
Yep.
And then another white, which is just mighty blow, piling on, tackle, jump up, just.
Just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Even the person that gets this still has to counter, still has to deal with a killer white and 3 stand firm, strength up pieces.
Yeah. And still, and you know, and even only having 1 wolf, that's still a blodge movement 8 player.
Don't forget, this team is 2,300 range team.
Yeah, and then some, yeah.
Super team,
yeah, indeed.
basically. But the goal is AV5.
Yes.
I noticed that when I was lurking on Spike.
So it was AV6 when I last played it. So it had already taken one of the armor busts some time ago, and Hilnick was praying for its death back then. Yeah, and Sylphie mentions and quite a lot of tackle as well. So you don't really, it's not an easy team to disengage from, as well as not being able to push them away. They're a pain. But yeah, still strength up, blodge step, tackle, guard. I'd be keeping this even on armor value 5.
Yeah,
like-
but it also if it gets down, it's easier to injure than an halfling.
Yes,
It's
easier.
basically a Noblar strength 4.
No, it is a halfling, right? Halflings. No, snotlings. Yeah. Halflings are 6. Sorry, I apologize. And then a few level ups on zombies, but quite a lot of fodder zombie as well. I think I like this. This looks all right, right? You got a kick and a tackle, which is maybe a bit excessive. But he needed a tackle against me. It was really useful for him to have even
No, sure
more
hands
tackle.
though, yeah. Like Sylphun has a lot of strip hold, the bastard. So he might have a good time with this team if he can disengage and just steal the ball.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, like Wood Elves will love this team. At least, I mean, he does repeatedly buy new ghouls and try and get them to blodge your hands. So maybe
Just in time as my super thrower dies last season at the end, and I get Sylphun with strip wall all around.
Yeah. Oh wait, I didn't look at his. He doesn't. Does he have? He doesn't have a stadium. Or if he does, it's one of the boring ones. Yeah, Ryan.
That's the last 12 fun factor. That's a lot. Jesus.
Yeah. That's a sign of someone who's won a lot of games recently, and he does have a very good winning record. The next team is Keith Carr and his Underworld Snowflake Generation.
That's also a kill team with some stunties, basically.
Yes, so he does have a strength up block thrower, which must be vaguely new because I would have thought the strength up would level up pretty quickly. No other thrower. He has 2 killers, both of them move bust, one of them double move bust.
They're quite slow, yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be the way. Wolfbarks and Underworld have 2 movement bust killers as well. One of them's with blodge, as well as horns and tackle. So I guess this is the better killer, while the other one is kind of support.
They're both horrible if you think about it, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like the best one is the blodge one for sure. But in terms of kill, But the other one is more like backup in case the other one is out of position.
Well, I really like horns. Like as a team, you often don't get very much guard on. Being able to generate your own 2Ds is really useful, and
If
that
you
being
think about it,
that being on a dodge player, so they'd be able to get away and pick their targets is really good.
it's also a player that leveled 6 times, and half of them were doubles.
No,
Dodge, claw, arms.
no, claw and horns aren't doubles on Underworld.
Oh,
Underworld
yeah,
have natural mutation access on
okay, okay.
normals.
I was mistaking it with
Yeah.
Skaven.
Yeah. Skaven have to roll doubles. Underworld don't.
Okay, that's a scary troll also. Just put it in the middle of the field and no one gets away and gets clawed.
Yeah. There's a troll with
That's,
strength and tense. A new lineman called Liz Truss is a fake. For those unaware of British politics, Liz Truss is the new Prime Minister. And the other Skaven lineman is called Cornight's Cornight's left testy. I think it's supposed to be testicle, but you know.
does your left testy has horns?
Yep, horns and wrestle tackle. Silfwin says that the troll will be a huge problem for him.
For you and me, imagine having RG3.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the for me in Silphone is running away from the blitzers and the troll, trying to kill the stunties, somehow score.
Yeah, I really like the double. There's a guard goblin. I think that's a really good utility piece. Like getting, as I said, often you don't get much guard on Underworld because they're trying to take block and wrestle and
he has easy access to 2 heads to get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. A movement up goblin who's taken block on a double. Not sure about that. Might maybe take pro. Make him something you throw. I don't know.
And a movement 8 goblin with strength 1.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's the one you throw. Jesus.
Do you fire the block 2 heads goblin, or you just use them as a assist piece?
Yeah, it's just an assister, isn't he? And Blodge is kind of annoying. Like, I assume he's going to get sidestep next and be basically a Noblar with a bit of extra movement. But he does have a lot of block, and maybe that's inflating his like a lot of block goblins, and maybe that's inflating his TV a bit.
Yeah, a bit. Also, the one that can be very dangerous in the future is that big hand block one.
Yeah, I'm after the big hands. I might have gone sure hands on a double to make pickups a bit even more certain.
Yeah, I would also take sure hands for the.
And then another normal, and you get extra arms, and you're picking up on 2s.
Yeah, like a lot of these players would be a lot better with 2 heads, basically.
But Keith does like to take random silly skills to play around with. So
Disturbing presence is it's more annoying than people get.
Yeah, but it is really annoying. But would you pick it as a skill? Would you actually take the cost of over other skills?
If it's my like 6th or 7th goblin, what the hell? Just give him disturbing presence.
Yeah, plausible. I quite like actually foul appearance on a couple of goblins. Make them LOS fodder because you have to put your goblins on the LOS quite often.
And the effect of disturbing presence on the goblin is quite cool because it's like they glow on the dark or something.
Yeah, it does look good. But yeah, he's taken some let's say less. This team did used to have a Agi 5 HMP lineman or something, and some other really random skilled players. He's got 2 cheerleaders and a coach assistant. And he's still.
It's not a team to underestimate this season.
Yeah. He like Ethelred and I make jokes about Keith because we know him. Well, I've met him in real life at tabletop, and he's a nice guy, and he can definitely take a joke. So we rib him about not being a good coach. He's a dicey player. He's like a Crystal Hunter. He likes rolling dice and putting players into scary situations, and sometimes it doesn't work, but it works enough that he's a scary opponent to face. He will roll the dice when he needs to.
That's
right?
good to know when I face him.
Yeah,
I'm expecting an aggressive player.
Yeah, exactly. He is a good player. Yeah. But this, like, he's got enough alter, but his TV's a bit high now, and he's kind of, he's got a bit too many skills maybe. But such is life. Don't like the two cheerleaders or the coach assistant. But there you go.
Next team.
Silfwin. And his Red Riding Wood.
Yeah, if anyone can kill those war dancers before my game with him, I would appreciate.
Talking also of coaches who aren't afraid to roll dice. Silfwin is also quite aggressive.
Last time we tied 3-3. Also, I had a much better team back then. So
Movement up tree, so stands up without having to roll the 50-50, which is nice. A catcher who's freshish because he keeps having his catchers die because he doesn't look after them well enough, a bit like Ethelred and Witches. A movement up, an agility up thrower with leap and blodge, which is really nice. Really nice.
Considering the TV, it's even for Wood Elves, it's a pretty lean, efficient team.
Well, I don't think the guard plus strength player is lean and efficient. He's had that for a number of games now and has not.
Still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. Admittedly, I said that he would die before. I said that he would die. He hasn't yet died. He hasn't also yet got block or dodge, which both would be a bit useful on him.
Yeah, next is block. Even a double, you ignore it.
I feel like this player is not getting 150k's worth of value out of this, but Silfwin says you have to have faith he'll get there. I still stand by probably better to turn down
considering
the
team,
strength.
it's the only project basically. The others are already kind of done.
Well, catchers. He wants
catcher, but
yeah.
In terms of lineman, it's the only lineman project.
Fair point, and also catchers do kind of just level anyway, right? Because they're scoring a lot usually.
Yeah, they'll score a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, just give a ball to a catcher and he runs away from the other team and scores.
Yeah. But nice team generally. I like the strip and frenzy, even though some people say it's not great. It's a bit
in wrestle and dodge is much more annoying than you'd think.
Yeah. I have stripped a player, caught the ball with the stripper, and then frenzied the second hit. Got wrestled down by the player I was hitting and turned over, which is hilarious and annoying. There you go. Can be dangerous.
Can be dangerous.
But I guess you pick your targets, right? Good team though.
Good team.
No stadium yet.
To be the best Wood Elf team in all of OCC at this point. There's not much competition. No, there's Andy Davis. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's the second best.
Yeah, probably is at the moment. Pit pads, horrific hornet harassers.
I can't escape the bash. Jesus.
This is a nice looking undead team though, isn't it? 1950.
Solid undead team. Look at those goals.
Not sure about the plus strength movement up skeleton. Is that niggled as well? That's a niggled skeleton.
It's Carl the kicker. Doesn't have kick.
Carl the kicker, yes. Well, he kicks people on the ground, obviously, except he doesn't do that either because he's 140k. You don't want sent off.
That are standing, basically.
Yeah. And the other skeleton is frenzy and block, which is interesting as well, right? I quite like having a frenzy player.
Like, skeletons are underrated on an undead team. They kind of can get around like almost as well as a white.
Yeah, I like having two skeletons. I like the movement of them.
I'm a big proponent of having at least one skeleton on an undead team.
And in like claw palm meta, they're better because of they're immune to claw by AV7 and have thick skull, which kind of helps. And they're still so cheap.
Yeah.
But
if you're going to develop a lineman on that team, it's a skeleton, not a zombie.
I don't know, but see this thing, like they're still cheap, but like I don't like the fact that this is 140k of skeleton and an 80k skeleton.
I find it awesome. It's like an extra white with strength 4.
Yeah, except not because they're agi 2 and they don't have dodge. Oh, white, yeah. Actually, talking of which, so there are
He
two
has a
guards.
level on white also.
There are two guards on the ghouls, but other than that, there are no doubles. Both
Yeah, but
whites.
he has 6 cards on a team.
Yep, fair. 5, 6, 6. You're right.
Which
Yep.
is, which we're talking already about dwarf and orc levels of guard,
Mm-hmm.
which is.
Very
And
good.
we're talking about movement 7, dodge, can get anywhere, guard pieces.
What is it with all the Hornets teams in OCC?
I don't know. I think it was a team like 5 seasons ago, and then just stick with it, I guess.
I think there's like 2 or 3. I think that all have similar sounding names. They're all the horned harassers or whatever.
I think it's the. Yeah, I played Doomy. I still haven't played Pitpad, so this is the first time playing Pitpad for me, I think.
And he has the Astro Granite playing surface, which I'm assuming is because of love of the polystyrene board from second edition.
Nice.
It does look nice, but it does nothing really in game. But you know, it's, Undead probably get to save up quite a lot of money, what with regen. So, you know, so it's a nice thing to have.
It's basically the most solid team on all of the tier, I think, in terms of archetypes and stuff. It's also kind of bloaty, like almost 2k, but well.
Yeah, but you kind of have to, right? I like people make a lot about undead being worse at ITV, but they're not that much worse. And
especially if you develop the ghouls.
Especially if the ghouls don't die and you protect them, right? No stars, but all the players are good. Yeah, exactly. It's a solid team. Yeah, solid.
Any player can change the game.
Yeah. We got you. But since we were still talking about Pippad's team, but I have already switched over to your team.
Yeah.
You know, at least
that as a team. Compared to the others, it seems like it shouldn't be there.
It's still what you still got 2 movement 9 catchers, an Agi 4 lineman, a killer with guard, a block ogre. It's got a bunch of good things about it. It
has like 5 good players, and then the rest are just for the ride.
I mean, like, wait till we look at my Norse team. They're in champs, right? I've got like 2, so you know.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Like, if the killer died last season, I would re-roll the team. No questions asked.
Yeah, you say that.
Go to tier 1
I have a feeling you were saying something about if this player dies, I'm re-rolling, and then they died, and you went, well, if the killer dies, then I'm re-rolling.
Yeah, because it was the most like it was a normals blitzer, and the other was the movement agi one, which was kind of bloaty. I agree.
Oh yeah, it was the movement actually one that got movement bust, wasn't it? But
No, got dead.
Dead. Yeah, but got move. Didn't he? Wasn't he? Oh no, I'm thinking about Danton. Danton had a movement up, movement down.
The only one that I really thought it wasn't fair was the blodge thrower that tied to a 5+4+ dodge, 1 dice into surf dead.
Yeah.
That was annoying as hell. But the other one was like, okay, he died.
I know you said that before, and I didn't really mention this before, but he didn't need to be on the sidelines, did he? That was that's the other thing about that.
He kind of needed.
But anyway, it's both. You know,
at the point the ghouls could get to the ball if he wasn't on the. I didn't expect him to do a 5+4+ dodge and 1 dice and still succeed against Blodge. You know. Oh well. Yeah, in hindsight, it happened. Like basically, like if you think about it, he could have died just as easily from the block.
And I take it with the Agi 4 lineman, you're not getting another thrower, or maybe you will get a thrower if you're playing Sylphwyn and you're afraid of the strip.
Yeah, but not right now. I can't get thrower. If I get Sylphwyn, I'm screwed. Basically.
Because throws are 70k, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, it's gonna have a vanilla thrower that doesn't have block or dodge, and you just can get 50% on him every time.
Yeah.
So
it's still better than the what, like 66% against you know, with strip against something though.
Yeah, but at this TV, I'm missing a lot of guard now, which is the main problem of this team now.
Yeah, the blitzer's dying.
Yeah, blitzer's dying made me have like 2 less guard. The ogre never leveling now is not only if he gets an MVP, he's gonna level. But
I mean, yeah.
But yeah,
or
it's
three,
gonna
or
be a tough this
or
season.
kill 3 elves in your first game. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
With
fine.
Jaeger.
But I do think this is the last season of this team, considering the tier I got.
Yeah.
I don't think this team is gonna be for much longer. I'm gonna have fun using star players, I guess, and then that's it.
Well, we'll see. Maybe the end of this season will also be when we actually know what's happening with Blood Bowl 3. Maybe.
Maybe. We're still riding that horse.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so
But we have a
next.
stadium, so I might upgrade him to Nuffle Altar.
I mean, your TV's not that low. I guess it is in this division, isn't it? If you were in the other division, it would be. But yeah. Yeah,
I
it
get
is low
the
enough to
knees
also.
against all the other teams before if they don't kill me in the first 5 turns.
Mhm. All right, so next is Balls to the Waller with BB3 delayed until 2023, which is now looking
Might be
prophetic
scary.
rather than hilarious. You know. But yes, this team. Sorry,
I
go on.
played against this team before they were this developed, and I think I won by the skin of my teeth. But now I don't think it's gonna be that easy. Look at this. I'm counting 4 claw, 4 guard, 5 guard, strength 4 all around, a beast, Estigors that can kill things a lot. And yeah, someone entered. Oh, it's
Hello.
Danton. Hello,
Oh,
Danton.
hey Danton, how are you?
Better late than never, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice to hear from you.
Cry with me and see these teams that are about to kill the human team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we haven't got to champs yet, so you're. Wait, you're not in champs this season, are you? Jesus,
It's not
you're
anywhere.
you're re-rolling. You're threeing. I mean, threeing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting out this season, and but you know, might come back.
But
I'm
you're in.
already regretting not re-rolling. So
But you're in the fantasy football competition that we're running, so
Yeah.
will be paying some
Yeah,
attention.
exactly.
Maybe,
Although
yes.
it's only going to be teams in the champs, right?
Yeah.
That are eligible.
yeah, for
Yeah.
now it's only
Okay.
champs.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, this team looks pretty nasty.
It is. It's got everything a Nurgle team want, right?
Is it the spiritus successor to the Jump All
RTST.
Stars?
Yeah. Yep.
It's basically that.
Hasn't quite leveled the Nurgle Warriors to the point where they've got tackle yet or anything, or you know the
He only has 1 tackle.
Yeah.
Or stand. I mean, stand firm is obviously nice
Does
on
it
them
really
too.
matter when you're killing the other team incessantly?
Yeah, I do prefer stand firm too, and I think the fact that he's gone guard first on the first 3 warriors suggests he's more of he's going to take stand firm at some point.
From what I know about him, he was trying to do a control team, but then he went to the dark side with it.
Yeah, because it is really annoying just having block and guard everywhere.
But I mean, I like the way he's like the first 3 went guard, and then the 4th one, you know, went mighty blow claw to kind of for it to catch up.
Yeah,
And obviously that one is probably gonna, you know, steam ahead of the others.
yeah, he's caught up, and now there are the 2 with mighty blow claw are well ahead of the other 2. But you know,
And the team is quite healthy for a Nurgle team.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his killers is a bit banged up, but that's basically the only red on the entire roster.
Yeah, I would like to see a wrestle Pestigor, like something that's something that's like more, or maybe not necessarily wrestle, but like a sweeper. You know, a player who's going to be getting 2 heads maybe, or frenzy or something.
Yeah, like a two heads Rackler or something. Like
Yeah, exactly that kind of thing to protect yourself from just being run past.
A security.
Yeah, I mean that's a lovely ball carrier as well. Obviously gonna be the target of a lot of lightning bolts if he's carrying on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I expect he's been already lightning bolted quite a few times. He still lives.
But I haven't seen the other teams in this division, but I mean I would already say this is one of the favorites to promote.
Yeah, probably just through murdering the other teams, right?
Yeah, he's a good contender even for the Kaz trophy at the end of the season. Also.
Okay, so then we also have Palladius with his Feanor and Sons. who were in tier
So
1.
you've already seen Ethel's dip, right?
Yeah. We did
Yeah.
1B first. This is 1A.
Okay.
We were actually talking about making champs this evening because Galentio has to go. Did you say you have to go at 2 or something, or you just tired of talking?
To go up to...
But if you're around
can do it
Danton,
with
we could
Danton.
do it. We could do it if you want.
Yeah, possibly we could. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. We've still got 4 more teams here to look at. Right, so there's Fire and Sons, another blodgy Dark Elf team. This time with 2 runners, and both of them have got guard.
Yeah. Too
but-
much tackle on this team.
Too much tackle for your liking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got five tackle, and I mean it's got a decent spread of skills, but I don't know if you need 5 tackle to be honest.
It's if it's like against humans, for example, it's like 100k of.
I mean, it's 5 tackle and 2 frenzy as well, right? So the frenzy tackle, rackle frenzy is already pretty likely to get players down if you really need it. I feel like the rest is excessive.
It's a little bit, especially you come up against a bash team with no dodge on it, and it's 100k that's doing nothing.
Yeah,
like...
against dwarves or something, like you're screwed.
Yeah.
And also, it's a team that's very basic, so it doesn't have any star players to get you out of.
Yeah, it's got no stat ups, or well, it's got a couple of guard, but
I think he did have some stat ups. I think he had an Agi 5.
I remember this team being with stats.
Being better, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so I mean, I think 3 tackle is probably fine, but 5 is just a bit overkill.
Yeah. Maybe he was just leveling blitzers with normals and not knowing
Yeah,
what to give them.
I mean, but the trouble is, like, so there's one blitzer who maybe should be blodge step instead of tackle blodge. But the other ones are kind of like, well, so you've got a wrestle witch, you're definitely putting tackle on that, right? You've got a strip ball leap blitzer. Tackle's a good choice on that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some diving tackle would be great.
I mean, the blodge step tackle, obviously diving tackle would be like the natural choice on that. And then the other one needs sidestep.
Yeah.
Basically, but yeah, it's just a little bit too much tackle.
But we're being pretty picky here, right? That's
a
minor gripe.
I mean,
and it could be the order they came in. It could be that he had 2 on the players that we're talking about, whilst then needing to get tackle as well on the players who are actually doing the hits, right? Which is why I don't like taking tackle on Norse linemen, even though quite often Norse teams like it early, because later on it's just a waste. But yeah,
I mean, you could probably take 1 tackle on a Norse lineman. I mean, because essentially it's really going to be only your kind of berserkers that are taking it, unless you kind of get an ulf up to like level 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah, and even then, it's assuming you keep your Zerkers alive, and they get Mighty Blow and piling on first anyway. So, but yeah, but lots of coaching SC pick tackle like this. I feel like there's a lot of teams with like 4 tackle. I don't agree with it either. But he's got a good record: 20 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws. That's very, very impressive.
Yep.
Yang,
I mean,
1B
maybe he coming up, he had a few divisions that had a lot of elves or players with dodge where that tackle was obviously useful.
Yeah. But still, 12 players, 1830. That's not very high for elves, and enough money to buy another player, maybe.
Yeah, considering the TV, the team doesn't look great. Looks balanced, but not great.
Yeah,
it's fine. I mean, the 2 guard is probably obviously the high point.
It's just sad that the 2 guard happens to be on the both runners, who are both players you don't really want to be getting into the middle of a fight with. But I guess they can be stuck into places where you're going to get them free if you're careful. He's a good coach as well, right? So he plays well. I think. Anyway.
Yeah, and having 2 runners, like you say, is maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but it does give the team a little bit more speed, right? I mean, it's 8 movement 7 players,
I mean,
which
this is literally the fastest a Dark Elf team can be without stats, right?
yeah.
So
Well, in BB2, in
in
BB3,
BB2,
they can have 10 movement 7 players.
because they can take assassins who are now movement 7 too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whoops, press continue twice. All right, so there are 3 more teams, but none of them are actually in this competition quite yet. I think 2 of them are in this league, though. So one is Kinroth's team. Was Kinroth the one who dropped early last season?
Yeah, it was the one that I replaced.
Oh, yeah, yes. Doom foretold you a Doom
Yeah.
replacement. He's not in this division, in this thing, or Blood Bowl needs.
It should be. Only if he removed the team from the league.
Yeah, maybe he's removed them. No, temporary Doom is there, but not Doom foretold. Okay, we'll come back to them in a bit.
I'll see if I can find them on Spike.
Yeah. So the other team that's down here is the Bats are back. Kielstad's championship winning vampire team, who are at 14 players, including 6 vampires.
This is the highest their TV has been in a long time, I think.
Yeah, he went through like a cut the season he won was the season the team got murdered and he was down to like 10 players, and he's been kind of rebuilding for 2 seasons now, and there's still a few red crosses, but you know,
I mean, he has managed to keep though his core kind of 4 vamps, pretty healthy.
I mean the movement up, agi up has an agi bust, which is slightly problematic, but
Found the team on Spike if you want to check it.
Yeah, and the other agi up with the move bust is annoying, but those 2 have been like that for quite a while now. And he's getting close to a 4th legend with the jump up vamp. Probably get there within a couple of games.
How do we even approach this with humans? Just kill the trolls and hope for the best.
I mean, having three move ups is amazing for vampires, because their problem is they're slow, right?
I've played against this team 3 times, Galentio, with my humans, and I've won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. The first time I played him, I lost, I think, 4-1. I tried to get in a shootout with him and had a couple of critical turnover turns and just got blown out. The second one, I beat him 3-0, and then we had a 2-2 draw, which I felt I was slightly unfortunate not to win it. I mean, basically the way to play against this team is, obviously, you need to target trolls when you can, but you need to I find you need to kind of spread the play. Even though he has the 4 move 7 vamps, you're still faster than him.
Yeah.
So you need to basically, obviously you need to try and keep the ball out of vamp range when you can, but when you can't keep it out of vamp range, then you need to make sure that there's enough kind of overlapping tackle zones to make it hard for him to get through. But it's definitely winnable.
Yeah.
So Fun is asking for the replays of those matches.
I guess I could find them. Yeah.
The thing with these vamps is they don't have mighty blow, so that's the thing.
Yeah, they're not a bashy team, but they are a score really quickly, and then they turn you over if you hold on to the ball anyway, right? Because they've got so much strength and tackle on the vamps, they're able to be pretty certain of getting a 2 dice, which is like 50% or better, to get the ball down almost anywhere on the pitch, right? The movement helps. They try and cover the whole pitch so you can't get away from them, which I think is a very effective technique, especially early on.
Especially the jump up vamp is surprisingly good or threatening, because he often will send that into if you're attacking and you keep the ball deep, then he'll often send that through as a harasser, because even if you knock it over with the jump up, he can often still reach your ball carrier.
Yeah, exactly. And then usually at the other end of the pitch, Freight Train is sitting with his strength 6 and movement 7 and also tackle and his ability to get 2 dice anywhere. And then the other vamps are all sitting on the midline, so that wherever you try and protect the ball, they'll be able to get
It's
you know, gazes on.
it's the kind of team that if you want to bring the ball up, you better score on that turn, or things are gonna get weird.
But even if you don't bring the ball up, you're gonna have trouble because he'll be able to sack you in your own backfield as well as in his backfield.
But if you do have to bring the ball up, then just make sure you kind of have a big cloud of players, you know, around where the ball is.
Yeah.
You just need to make it as hard as possible for him to kind of remove
Most tackles as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, he needs to use too many vampires to gaze. That's what you need to make him do. You need him to be forced to use everything to gaze and then have nothing to recover with. That's the aim, right?
Basically. And I mean, I have managed, well, obviously, you know, Brian on my team is a little bit special for humans, but with Brian, like I have managed to position him like near the center on one side, and he kind of overcommitted to cover, and then I was able to give the ball to Brian and run diagonally to the other side where he couldn't reach him. So, you know, look for kind of opportunities like that where your catchers, because they're the faster than any of his vamps, maybe, you know, you can get him to overcommit and find space somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Yeah, like the fact you've got
an easy game, but
the fact you've got movement 8 players makes it a lot easier. I can tell you that, like, even Norse having movement 7 makes it's hard to run away from him, right? And even slower bashy teams like that Nurgle team are going to find it really, really hard. If they don't kill everything, thit's as simple as that. And even if they do kill things, they need to kill them early on. That's the thing.
And for those things not to regenerate.
Yeah. Yep. I can tell you, Ratimo, that if you give him the ball, he will score in 2 turns or 3 turns at most, and then you're on defense and being put under pressure all the time. And nowhere is safe, right?
It's worth saying that, you know, if you put him into attack first, which is normally what you do against vamps because they don't like being on offense, he will go for the 2-turn score. And he will roll a lot of dice, you know, and do kind of quite long passes and things like that. I mean, he basically is confident in the fact that even if he doesn't score, he can still kind of turn you over and get the ball back and score.
Yeah, I mean, like, so the aim is to get the ball as far up the field as possible, so that even if the ball ends up on the floor, even if he does a failure at some point, all his team is kind of around where the ball is, and you don't have a chance to get the ball away. Which again, Agi 3 or Bashy teams, it's a real problem to deal with.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't played them for a while. Maybe it was the other vamp team in my division that played very similarly. Oh, there you go. He beat me last time we played. But yeah, fine. All right. And there are 2 other teams in this division. So Galentio sent me Kinroth's team, but
also do we not forget that this team was the one that deprive Andy Dave of the OCC win.
Yeah, he beat Andy 4-2, was it? Which is, you know, a pretty impressive imho.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, it's not going to be an easy match, but all I'm saying is it's winnable.
Winnable. What? Oops. Putting one of Ethelred's teams into... Ethelred hadn't joined his division yet, by the way, Danton, so I logged in as him to put his team in, which is why I was confused where I was for a while as well. All right, so the other team that's in this division is an Orc team called Captain Badruck's Raiders Excalibur. So
They've been around, I think. The name rings a bell.
Yeah.
They've been around for a while.
Yeah, the name. We might have covered them in one season once, but oh my god! So
Probably quite beaten up.
Enjoyed playing this team, Galentio. They are 2,460 orcs. 4 blitzers, all have mighty blow first, then guard. All 4 of them also have tackle. 2 of them have dodge. 2 of them have piling on. 2 of them stand firm, and a grabber in there for good measure, and a ball carrier. So
no red crosses on the blitzers.
No red crosses on any blitzers. 4 black orcs also all have block, mighty blow. 1 of them's missing guard, but he is 1 SPP away from getting that guarder. Another one has Frenzy. 2 of them have Stand Firm. 1 of them has Jump Up. Oh wait, did this team? No, kind
Jump
of.
up,
We may have.
jump up on a black orc is surprising.
Yeah, it is surprising, but it kind of. I've either seen a Black Orc. It's either when we covered this team before, it had 2 Jump Up Black Orcs, and they were first skill Jump Up or something. Maybe that was another team or another division, even another league, even another grabber as well.
This is if I get this team first, I can get what, a Morg, a Griff, a Wizard.
I mean, you're definitely getting into the. I mean, we've not even got to the strength 6 block guard grab troll.
This is gonna suck. Especially arcs are just such a bad matchup for humans sometimes.
He's got an Agi 4 lineman with kickoff return, but not sure hand, which is an interesting choice. Also dodge and sidestep. Almost a legend.
I guess because he rolled 2 doubles, he didn't take the sure hands.
You'd take the sure hands before kickoff return, wouldn't you? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Even as a nice goblin.
I mean, the fact that it's Edge 4, I guess he kind of feels that it's not so necessary.
Yeah, and he's got every skill in the world, so doesn't need to use rerolls that much. So I guess he can use them on the.
ISTV in OCC, right?
Sorry, say that again.
You what?
ISTV in all of OCC.
Highest TV. It's plausible. Yeah.
So, funnily enough, the weakness of this team is actually the Black Orcs. I mean, when I say weakness, it's like in inverted commas, because obviously, I mean, they're pretty well developed, but every single Black Orc has a red cross. 2 of them have niggles, and 2 of them have armor busts. So if you can foul those Black Orcs, that might be your best chance.
It does involve.
You can escape the 8 guards that are around it.
Yeah.
9. Yeah. Well, there are 9 guard total, right?
Yeah. If you can bring him down.
Yeah, 9 at the moment. Yeah. Although one of the Black Orcs is 1 SPP away from guard as well, right?
If he set up all the players in a line, it's almost impossible to get anyone down.
One end of the line will have a strength 6 troll.
And the other will have a strength 4 Black Orc. It's like a goblin.
No, I mean this is a harder match than the vampires.
Jesus.
I mean, Sylphin's saying what the fuck, but actually, Wood Elves, this is fine, right? This is a get loads of play, like not fine, but like
not quite fine. I mean, he's got 5 mighty blow. Oh no, sorry, 4 mighty blow tackle and another tackle, so it's a lot of tackle as well.
Yeah, but the Elves will have a wizard and an Agi 5 war dancer. What's his name, and Eldril, and so they'll end up kind of. Not and a lot of dodge, right? So
yeah, Daka is a good call, I think, against
yes, Daka indeed. Ironically, against the orcs.
Then if you Daka, how are you gonna punch through the orcs?
But whereas Galentio's humans and mine orcs and your humans, this is horrific for us, right? This is even a claw team will not want to face this, right?
Yeah.
Like the only hope is that the Nurgle and the orcs face round 1 and kill each other somehow.
Yeah. Maybe Hilnick can remove a couple as well with his smattering of guard and claw.
Yeah, at least it's a prospect of if it's gonna be a bad game, it's gonna be a 40-minute, 30-minute game.
If that.
Everyone is gonna die just play on the floor.
This is the sort of team that when you say it, you actually say, "Thank God Clawpalm exists."
Yeah, exactly.
Suddenly you realize that Clawpalm actually has a purpose.
Yeah. I mean, the real question is why hasn't Clawpalm done a job to stop this from happening in the first place?
Yeah.
Like 2,460 is a TV that shouldn't be reachable in an Eternal League, right? Someone should have, even not just Clawpalm, fouling. Jesus,
Yeah.
Yeah,
fouling wizards. I mean, you think more damage should have been done to this.
Yeah.
Like because all of the Bashi Claw teams were in 1A last season, So all the teams got to recover, and now they're 1A to beat us up some more. Yeah.
This is just yeah.
What's the record on this team?
Yeah, so I was just about to say, like, the fact that he's got to this point whilst being low TV, does that mean he's been submarining on purpose, or is his record? His record's average, dead on average.
Mm.
So
dirty player.
is this a scary team that's piloted by not necessarily the greatest of coaches?
Excalibur is more than decent coach, I think, but I think it's a case of submarining, and now he's coming up to take us all out. This team is only missing a dirty player sneaking it Coven.
I mean, with that record, I mean, he's an average coach, I would say. But the team, I mean, a team like this in the hands of an average coach can still, obviously do it. Can still do well.
I mean, if you look on Spike, he's not played that many games, but his overall win rate is better than this team's overall win rate, if that makes sense. I would say. So he's a 55% coach, which isn't 60. So it's not great, but also people don't always play their hardest in other divisions. So it could be that he's been messing around in CCL and lowered his win rate over there.
Yeah, probably.
All his last games are OCC. So of his last 50 games, he's not played anywhere except OCC. So he's played a bunch of games before this team, and then this team.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if his record, for example, in the last 2 seasons, kind of started to, put him above 50%. Maybe he struggled before he started to kind of, get kind of mighty blow and guard on all his pieces.
I mean, I think he's also been mostly in lower tiers, right? Maybe like submarining is a thing, right? It's plausible that he was actively losing games to try and stay low TV while he built up this horrific kill team, right? Oh, and then the record's harder to judge as well, right?
Yep.
Do we know how he finished last season?
I was just about to say, so 1-1-1-1 drew. He lost against Rats and he lost against Undead. And he lost against Dwarves.
He was third on 2B.
Yeah.
Behind Bob and Yilnik.
Yeah. So it's surprising. Did you say he lost against Dwarves?
Yep.
That's really surprising because this is a sort of team that just murders Dwarves.
Yeah, Dwarves are like.
I mean, basically orcs are just better than dwarves at high TV, just because they have the same amount of guard and mighty blow, but they have strength 4 pieces and a troll.
Like he started the season badly, but then he won. Like he tried against Yilnik with his claw. He went against Keith. He won against Ruji.
But Keith, I mean, Keith's team is obviously it's a glass cannon, so it can easily against a team like this it can melt.
Yeah,
and also lizards, but lizards against this team is also a nightmare for them. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And the other thing I was going to do though was to check if Doom Foretold wasn't in tier 2 before he.
You can see I sent the.
Yeah, I know you did, but I wanted to look at them in Blood Bowl 2, ideally. No, okay, fine. So yeah.
Remove them altogether.
Yeah.
Because he was on tier 1.
Yeah. Season. So here's Doom Foretold, which it's weird. So they joined last season and they couldn't play last season. So you replaced his team with the same team, played for a season, and now the old team are back again with the old TV.
I got last with them and I was able to kill half the team.
Yeah. Yay. So let's see if Kinroth can play better with them than you did. He still has
5 guard.
Yep. Well, 4 guard. 5 guard. Yep. A mighty blow as well. Plenty of blodge step.
I mean, he used to have 6 guard, I think.
Yeah.
But he's got. I mean, yeah, he's obviously his team is whittled down to a kind of a solid core of players, but he should be getting inducements, I think, in quite a few matches.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, guys, I need to go. So,
okay. Nice to. Thanks for joining us, Galentio.
See ya.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last team anyway, right? Wait, okay. You know this team already, Galentio. What's your top 3? Or have you gone already?
He's gone.
He's gone. All right, fine then. And you haven't looked at the team, so it's hard for you to do a top 3 at the moment anyway, right?
okay.
Oh, he's back.
Oh.
Top 3 Galentio.
Top 3. It's gonna be.
Well, I was gonna say, because you know this team well enough, like we all know this team, right?
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Kinroth, Nurgle, and the Orcs. Because the AV8 will still go a bit of a way to make his team survive more than Sylphwins. But it's like Sylphwin also has a good chance to.
So wait,
top 3.
were you saying Kinroth top?
Kinroth top, followed by Orcs, followed by Nurgle, I guess. And the last one is probably. The last one is me. Maybe Philadius is last. They're all good, very good teams. Jesus.
So Sylphwins, Woodies, are they over 2000 TV?
No.
They're
They're like
1900.
Okay, so
if
quite
that.
high.
I think it's last is between
Hillnick's
2000.
Necro are quite. They managed to rebuild, haven't they? Up above 2000 or not?
They're wait a second. I can go back into that.
Okay, I vote last with Philadius, so I don't vote for myself, and bye.
Okay, cool. Bye. Should have said lol. 1-8. All right, so Keith is like they're also missing some players, right? So Sylphwin's on 1680, but he's missing a few players, I think. He's missing one player. Two players. So he's actually on 1820. Oh, who did Galentio say was last?
Palladius.
Palladius. Okay.
I can take it. I can take a stab at it without having seen all the teams, but you know I do know most of the coaches.
Yeah.
I would actually say last Keith, even though I haven't really seen the state of his team. I know he still has like 2 like killer.
Yeah, they're both move buffs,
blitzers.
And he has a bunch of fairly random skill choices after that.
I think that the division like this for a team like his is just horrific.
Yeah, fair.
So I'm gonna put him last. First, it's tough. I mean, I think it's hard to overlook Kielstad as one of the top 3.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I was gonna keep quiet on the Kielstad, and because I think he's definitely top 3.
So I think my top 3. So I'll give you the order in a minute, but I think Bulls, Kielstad, I think, and Kinroth, I think are my top 3. So the order though is a tricky one. I mean Hillnick as well. I think is going to be pushing for top 3.
Hillnick was also. I also Pidpad. Pidpad's a good coach.
Well,
his undead team is a bit meh, but you know.
This is the thing though. Undead starts to really kind of drop off at this type of TV. I mean, you put that undead team up against that orc team, and that undead team just should explode.
And obviously, we're obviously Sylphwin as well is obviously a real contender.
Sylphwin is a contender.
I'm not just saying that because he's in chat.
No. Yeah, he's saying you have no faith. I mean, he's a contender, but I just think that there are 3 or 4 other teams that are just probably better positioned than his team. And I mean, even Kinroth's team, okay, is maybe not in a great shape, but he's just a very solid high elf coach, and 5 guard, in a team like that is massive.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go first place, Bulls. Second place, Kinroth, and third place, Kielstad.
So Bulls, Kinroth, and Kielstad.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually think that Kielstad's going to come top.
Okay.
Oh, do you have a loser as well? Who do you think is going to go down?
Yeah, no. I told you it was Keith.
Oh yeah, we've already done that one. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm going to go for Kielstad as being first. I think.
Yeah.
Which is the kiss of death. That means he definitely won't. And I'm gonna pick Pidpad as second. I think I think Undead are not as bad as people think at this tier. Like they go from being like one of the two best teams at low TV to being a middling team, but they're not that bad. And Pidpad is a good coach.
No, they're playable, but I mean, if you look at the other teams in this division, right? I mean, the only good matchups. I haven't seen Pidpad's team, but I imagine roughly around 1,700.
It's a pretty. It's actually a high TV team with a lot of players. But
just
not
big bench.
Big bench. Yeah, 15 players. A couple of weird skeletons at the bottom, but the rest is as you'd expect.
Yeah.
6 guards pretty good though.
Oh yeah, 6 guard is decent. Yeah, I mean, he's all of his ghouls are blodge. I would have liked to see at least one Rodge.
Yeah.
One Rackle kind of ghoul. Only one dirty player is surprising with 15 players.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could have done with another dirty player. And yeah, Frenzy Skelly is like no.
I mean, what about strength move up Skelly though, with a niggle?
Yeah, I mean that is a fun piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go back to the list of teams, the Nurgle, the Orcs, the High Elves, I mean, just at least sort of 6 or 7 of the teams in this division, I think, are just better than this team,
Yeah. No offense to Bulls though, I like the Nurgle team scary, but I don't think he's as good a coach as some of the other coaches in this division. Whereas I think Pidpad is a good coach. And again, I'm doing the similar thing with Excalibur, where I don't really know how good a coach Excalibur is.
I don't think Excalibur the team is obviously very scary, but I think if you look at his win rate and just generally, I think he's taken a long time to get up here.
Yeah.
And it's probably only maybe just got up because people have been dropping out as well. So I don't think that team is good enough. I mean,
and at this level, every opponent he faces is going to know how to use wizards well, everyone is going to be getting those wizards, right? Even some expensive.
I think those orcs are going to be mid-table. I mean, Silfoin definitely has a chance to go for top 3, but he's got a lot of hard matchups.
Yeah, elves always have a chance, basically.
Yeah, they're always in it. I think the Dark Elves are looking kind of a little bit mediocre. Just they don't quite have enough to kind of really push for top 3.
Mm.
And I mean, Galentio is his team is quite beaten up, so I think he's going to need a lot of luck to get in the running.
Yeah. Okay, so I put third Kinroth, by the way, which I think I mentioned, and I will paste that into the thing. Do you want to try and do champs now, or do you want to wait until this evening?
We can do it. I mean, if we try and maybe go through it relatively quickly.
Yeah, sure. Although we did say that about the other one, but anyway. All right, so 8 teams are in champs so far. All of them will be names we recognise from Tier 1 and champs last season. Stolberg's Deathbringers are the first team to look at. Actually, not that killy. They've got a full complement of warriors with block and guard. 3 of them have Mighty Blow. 2 of them have Claw Palm. And then you've got a Horns and a Tackle in there as well. No killer. Oh yeah, sorry, no, a killer beastman who actually started out as a blodge guard first, and then got mighty blow and claw and frenzy, which is
Yeah, I mean, there's no claw palm beastman. I mean,
yeah,
he does rely a lot on those two warriors as his main kind of kill pieces.
yeah, and especially no claw palm tackle, right? So that's the like that
Well,
warrior is
one of the exactly, just a warrior.
yeah, which is kind of movement 5 is kind of annoying, right? You want your movement 6 player to be able to get around and bombing things, and also just having more than one of them is good, right? More than 2 of them even.
Yeah, the horns on the other warrior, a little bit questionable maybe as the like, I mean, take tackle there at the legend skill. I mean, obviously against other strength teams it can be useful, but I don't know if
I think
really...
at this level you are more and more likely to see bigger and bigger players, right?
I guess it's good, right, if you're up against like another chaos team or an orc team.
Well, I mean, he's good.
Kind of...
it's probably good against Freight Train on the vampires, and it's probably good against Snowdrop on the lizards, right? Like the getting.
Except they both have blodge and it doesn't have tackle.
Yeah.
But
yeah, fair point. A lot of guard as well, though. So 7 guard.
Yeah, this team is always. I mean, this team is always nasty. It's been nasty for a long time. The question here is really, I mean, Stauberg. I think he's a solid coach, but he makes some questionable decisions in terms of both how he attacks and he does focus on damage a little bit too much sometimes, and sort of suffers. His positioning can suffer because of that. So. I mean, the team is definitely going to cause damage to other teams, but I personally don't think he's going to be in the running.
I mean, I think there was a season where like he took a lot of agi ups and weird doubles that changed the way he played, and I think that was one of the seasons he did the best. And then some of the strange agi, like you think he had an agi for strong arm goat, for example, and an agi 5 player with maybe did he have catch or some other weird.
He did definitely sort of play them like sort of weird elf kind of like clawed up elves at some point, but yeah.
Weirdly, he has the Magician's Shop as his stadium. Talking of unusual choices.
I mean, I guess I can understand the logic, which is, if I'm gonna have high TV and people are gonna be taking wizards against me, then I might as well have one myself.
Yep. I see the logic as well. It is still slightly wrong logic, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's still like asking for trouble.
Yeah. There are games where you're going to be facing a 2,100 TV elf team, and giving them a wizard is a terrible idea. Talking of which, actually,
giving Andy Davo a wizard for free, it's just not really a good idea.
Yeah. Well, the next team on the list is Spiders or Coca-Cola Guzzlers, who are a very similar TV and would, I'm sure, love to have a wizard against the kill team.
I'm sure they would.
Like more crosses on this team than ever before, and Spider has had some periods where he's had a lot of crosses before. 3 niggled players, 3 movement bust players, an armor bust, Saurus, and an armor bust skink. The skink does have agi 4, which I think is great, but
he did have 3 agi 4 skinks at one point.
Yeah,
not that long ago.
It's almost like skinks die though, weirdly.
Yeah. Well, he is pretty aggressive with his skinks normally, so I mean, yeah, they definitely are put in harm's way.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're playing to win, that's what you have to do.
Obviously, the star of the show is Sundrop, who is now movement bust, but has strength 6 as a Saurus, and blodge, and break tackle and tackle. So, very scary piece to deal with. Actually, the Croxigores become.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Crocs has silently kind of put itself in a really nice kind of situation. I mean, it's a really nicely developed Crocs.
Yeah, it it died. He's lost to Crocs. Well, actually, it's
He's
Fago the 8th. So that tells you how
yeah.
many times it's
Yeah,
died.
yeah. I have seen him lose several Croxes, but this one is a keeper
Yeah.
for now. And actually, so it's not too far away from the next level, right? What's it on 64?
Yeah, 64 out of 76.
So
So
it could get to another skill by the end of this season potentially. What would you give it?
even want to? I'd like it to not get. If I was Spider, I don't think the next skill is that great, right? So the next skill, I guess, is break tackle because of the
Well,
movement.
if you roll a double, I mean dodge is quite nice on it. It's a
Blodge firm, yeah.
Blodge firm, it's pretty useful, and with guard as well.
Mhm.
But break tackle, I guess, is probably the best pick of the strength skills.
Yeah, I don't think what else even is there, right? There's like strong arm, no, multi-block,
block,
no, grab.
grab. I mean, grab is okay because of the prehensile tail. You maybe if you push something, you want to kind of keep it next to you, sort of thing.
And the guard and the stand firm, it kind of works well.
Yeah, grab is okay. I mean, the
and,
only thing.
And he's already got 2 break tacklers, right? And break tackle doesn't have a reroll, and it's a loner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was gonna say that break tackle on big guys I always find scary if they don't have dodge.
Yeah.
Just because it's that 2+ with loner. And so grab is actually not terrible.
Yeah, I've talked myself into grab over break tackle. I have a feeling that Spider will take break tackle though, because I think he likes doing things with the Crocs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously, and a movement 9 sprint short feet catch skink is pretty sweet as well, right?
Yep. It is pity it's size 3, but it's still a good piece.
I was going to say he's got a level on. No, he doesn't have a level. That's weird. It's showing a level pending on there.
I mean, it does, sometimes the interface does glitch like that.
And you can see it's behind the shield, so maybe that's from looking at Division before or something. But yeah, weird. All right, so next is Ant-Man's Infernal Demon Smiths.
The Draw King.
Yep, Draw King. Strength 4 ball carrier. 6 chorfs. Only 4 of them with guard firm. A Jugs Mighty Blow Claw. Smattering of other Mighty Blow. A couple of Agi busts. And 2 bulls, both with block, tackle, break tackle, Mighty Blow. 1 with guard and 1 with strength 5 and dodge. So the strength 5 break tackle dodge is pretty sweet, right?
Both the bulls are obviously nice pieces. Yeah, I mean here the only kind of, I mean it's a nasty chorf team as you'd expect at this TV, but definitely it could do with like at least 1 claw pommer, which it doesn't have. But it looks by the fact he didn't take piling on that killer chorf shows that he probably doesn't doesn't like piling
it's an
on.
active choice, right? By this point.
Yeah.
Because he got claw straight away and got Mighty Blow next, and then decided guard, stand firm, and jugs, and still hasn't taken piling on. So he's probably not taking piling on. Maybe next. Maybe he kind of is forced to when he gets to legend, but whatever. And 2 dirty player hobgoblins and a team of 14. So
worth mentioning. This team won the OCC championship like 3 seasons ago. They were crown champions, but since then they've been kind of staying up in the championship, I think, or maybe I can't remember if they were in. No, they came down last season, didn't they?
Yeah, they were down and then back up and then down again. So
So I mean, it's a team that's used to playing up here, but also they, in at least since becoming champions, I think he's been suffering from drawing way too many matches, basically.
I think he's lost interest to the point where he often doesn't care, basically, and that's obviously a problem if you want to win, right? You need to be caring enough to really be thinking.
Well, how do you know that he doesn't care? Is that something that he said, or
he said a couple of times that he was thinking about threeing, as it were, choosing not to come back. And then
because I mean,
he always ends up coming back, right? So,
well, yeah, except I mean that unless you're getting confused with Nibinen, because Nibinen definitely, had obviously a similar team, slightly more killy, and that
that
happened
is
to him.
plausible. I might be thinking about
He
Nibali, yeah.
he definitely started to lose interest, and eventually, obviously, did go with the 3
Yeah.
last season.
Oh, you're right. I might be thinking about Nibali. Maybe I'm getting mixed up. All these chorfs are the same to me. But yeah, he did have a season where he got like there we are, all the draws except one. I think that was that season, right?
Yeah.
So an 0-8-1 season, which is actually kind of bad, right? Talking of kind of bad, after looking at all these 2,100 teams, here's a kind of bad Norse team.
Kind of bad as in terrible.
Yeah, like a legend Yeti with Blodge, Mighty Blow, Guard.
It's actually quite remarkable that he's managed to stay alive with 0 injuries.
Yeah, and especially the way that I use my Apo, which is aggressive, to say the least. I have often Apo'd early KOs and things like that, where I felt it was necessary.
I guess most teams just avoid the Yeti if they can, but if you're up against like some of these big teams that we've seen so far would quite like to have a pop at him.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been. May is the number one target on the team for most opponents. If they have a way of getting her down, they will be trying to get her down. They will be trying to foul her. I personally don't actually like the Yeti that much. I don't actually use her aggressively. I don't think. But obviously there might be a certain amount of bias in there. Obviously I use them when I have to, but I don't think they're a great player necessarily. I don't like big guys. I don't like relying on big guys for more than being a roadblock. So being blodge firm is okay, but wild animal roadblocks are obviously kind of bad because they don't move when you want them to, or they're less likely to.
I guess it's the case where when you see an opportunity to blitz with it, that's where you use that to kind of position it in a place where it kind of fulfills that roadblock role for a few turns.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll often blitz with it once early on in a half to get it to go somewhere, and then we'll try not to touch it, or we'll be punching things that are still standing next to me.
So I mean, I know that you've been going this kind of low TV route. I mean, maybe sort of not so much out of preference, but more just the fact that there's a lot of player turnover.
Mm.
But would you not be tempted to have a second runner?
Yes, I love having 2 runners. I go 2 runners before I go two berserkers. That's for sure. But yeah, the runners. I've had one season where 4 runners died, where it was I had 2 runners. They both died at the beginning of the season. I built up 2 more runners, and they both died at the end of the season together in pairs. But it's a choice where you want one of them to have a few skills so that he's a bit self-independent, and then you're buying the other one with the knowledge that you've got to score 2 touchdowns quickly to get into blodge, and then probably still want to get another level on them as well. So having like more than one player who you're trying to level, I find, is a bad idea, and that includes having berserkers who, at the moment, I've got one of each. Right?
Especially in a division like this one, I think the runner is more valuable than the berserker because of the dauntless and the fact that the berserker is probably just going to get himself into trouble.
Yeah, I think that's true. But I still want to have a berserker that levels up and gets tackle at some point. I don't want to only have the Ulferners, so I'm trying desperately to level them up. But they just keep dying, so that's.
Well, I mean, you say that, but that AV7 one has been around for a long time.
Yeah. So the Ulfs are my favourite players on the Norse team by a mile, and
once they get blocked, because before they get blocked, they're a fucking nightmare.
I mean, even with block, I tend to score touchdowns on them in their first games. Like, I believe.
So, do you when you're decided you're going to score a touchdown on an Ulf before you start the game? would you literally put it in the backfield and try and pick up the ball with it, or is
Yeah.
it more a case of handing off to it?
No, if I'm like obviously in tier 1, this changes, right? So this no longer is the case. But in lower tier, 100%, I'd put the Ulf in the backfield, and they'd be picking the ball up and not re-rolling it, but rolling it 50%, and hopefully being protected well enough to get a few chances at picking up.
Okay.
And Louis scored 2 touchdowns in his first game, and then in Logan's first game, in the original Logan, he scored 2 touchdowns in his first game as well. But this one, I don't think has scored any touchdowns. Maybe he has. He scored 4. So they both have scored a few touchdowns to get them kick started.
I mean, the main thing is to get block on them, and then after that, maybe you're only going to be scoring if you're really dominating and they're close to a level or something.
Or the opposite, or if you're desperate and they're in the right place at the right time. So Louis, being blodge step and break tackle means his mobility is good, but obviously he's still edgy too. But sometimes that 50% is better than trying to 3 up with someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
basically, this season is Cheney on speed dial, with some bribes and as much fodder as you can put on the pitch.
I mean, I'm praying for 8 out of 9 home games. That would be great, so I get the altar every game. I don't think are there any teams that are lower TV than me. There are not. Every team is 19 to 2000 TV that we can see. There are 2 teams missing. Andy is one of them, so he obviously definitely has a 2000 TV high elf wood elf team as well. So I am going to be the lower TV team in every game where a team hasn't been destroyed.
Unless you're facing a team that's just played like against a Stahlberg or something like that. Just got mashed.
Yes. So I am pretty likely to have a wizard and Cheney for every game. Maybe a wizard Cheney bomber if I've got the knuckle altar, and then maybe some bribes as well if I've got even more TV difference, right? It's going to be a hard season. I would like to finish higher than 7th. That's the primary aim, because that would mean I'd be the highest ranking Norse coach ever, because Arcani got into champs before me and got to 7th, and then obviously I got there previously and got last place. 7th being above 7th would also mean Ethelred can no longer go on about how high he got as well.
I was going to say that I thought your priority was actually to finish higher than him.
Yeah, it works too. Either way.
So
ideally, I'd like to win it. He was 7th as well, so it's the same.
7th. So you've got to finish 6th then.
Yeah. Or I'd like to win, please. That would be my. That is what I would. It's not impossible. We're all good coaches. The dice can roll anyone's way, but it's going to be hard, obviously. And next is Carmac, in fact, with Sabertooth Badge.
Carmac. Well, I mean, you said we're all good coaches, but you weren't including Carmac in that statement, were you?
I actually think Carmac is a really good coach. I actually think this team is kind of getting to the point where it's got too many injuries, and I think the same's true of Spider as well. I think the injuriness of the team holds back.
Of
both
course,
coaches.
I wasn't being serious. I do rate Carmac as a coach, but I agree his team is slightly the worse for wear. I mean, to be honest, he has rebuilt it slightly as well. It was even worse than this, right? At one point. So his warriors, I mean, I think we've joked that his warriors are basically Nurgle warriors, disguised as Chaos warriors.
Yeah.
But they're still, I mean, despite the injuries they have, they're still pretty effective, right? I mean, he's managed to get quite a bit of, Claw Mighty now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he had, I think he had a beastman on Claw Mighty as well, who died in the penultimate game of the season as well.
Yeah.
So he's actually,
and obviously, we love to remind him about Clueless Tina as well, who was his de facto killer. So I mean, he's still missing a proper killer, really. But I mean, he has that Beast of Nurgle type warrior, which is, I mean, that's a very useful piece, kind of tactically. He does, use that quite effectively, in some situations. And then, I mean, the problem with this team though is that if it loses a couple of warriors, kind of early-ish, it's the team kind of folds.
Yeah, if he gets into a bash matchup against Starberg, or even or Ant-Man, obviously, even Javelin, I think having a Claw Mighty thing, and that if they get hits on those warriors, it could be problematic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even a fouling, actually there aren't any fouling teams except for Ant-Man. Really, now I think about it. Anyway.
Well, your team.
Yeah. Clearly, we've discussed this before. I'm not a fouling player, right? So it's
No,
fine.
no, you might not be a fouling player, but you're playing a fouling team.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's undeniable.
I only have two dirty
only
players.
2 dirty players.
Yeah.
Oh, only. Yeah.
Okay, I should really answer the phone. So can you keep talking about Javelin's team while I answer the phone? Wait a second. And this time I'm going to mute Discord.
Is the phone still? Is it still ringing?
I muted it. But I'm going to have to call it. It's my son, so I need to call him back. So give me a second.
Okay.
All right. This is Javelin's team. Talk away, Danton.
So Javelin's team, almost 2000 TV, right? Or is that 1890? Can't quite. I think it's 1890, not 1990. Very, very nice wolves. One of them, obviously, with the mighty blow claw, is the more dangerous one. The other one's still very solid with bludge step tackle. He used to have 2, which were bludge step tackle, mighty blow, but one of them died, thankfully, for other people. The flesh golems carrying a few injuries, but they do have at least a decent amount of skills on them. I guess the injuries aren't terrible, except, I mean, the move bust is a little bit annoying because it basically turns it into a strength 4 mummy. So yeah, the golems are okay, nothing special. The whites, yeah, having a rookie white is obviously annoying. Trying to rebuild a white in a division like this is no small proposition. The other white is nice though, it's solid with guards, down firm, mighty blow tackle. Basically has all of the skills that a white needs. Both ghouls having blodge guard is nice. So that's you're back, are you?
Yeah, I am back. Sorry about that.
I don't. Yeah. So I was just saying that, I mean, he's got the 2 nice wolves. He used to have both wolves with mighty blow claw, blodge step tackle, but he's had to rebuild the second one, but he's almost kind of got it back up to a nice place. The golems both carrying quite a few injuries. The move bust is kind of the more annoying, I think, of the injuries, but they're solid, solid golems.
I mean,
anyway.
it's annoying, but you do kind of want your golem to just stand in the middle of the pitch. So
yeah. As long, I mean, it's more. So there'll be situations where obviously, it's not such a big deal, but there will be others where you really feel the movement.
Yeah.
You need the golem to plug a hole, and you're having to GFI, or you just can't get there.
And the bigger problem is you can't really fire and rehire them because it takes so long to get them to block, let alone
definitely
as many. They're way more useful now, even with those injuries, than they would be if they were rookie. That's the trouble.
Yeah, the rookie white, so it's slightly easier to level, and so it just needs a touchdown to level. But saying that, it's in the champs, it's still not an easy feat just to score in whoever you want necessarily.
Yeah.
But and having two blodge guard ghouls is nice. Couple of dirty players. It's a solid team. It's a solid team, but I think it's gonna struggle, I think, in this division.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I think it also has maybe a little bit too much TV on the zombies. Maybe like block kick is a block. I don't like the block dauntless.
It's not terrible. I don't hate the dauntless there because, especially Necro, I think struggles more against like big bash teams. So
Yeah.
having having that zombie as another piece that can kind of take a pop at a strength 4 warrior or whatever is useful.
Yeah. I still think I'd rather just have two zombies where you can just leave one of them standing next to a big warrior rather than actually trying to get the punches
Yeah.
back. But
I mean, I think this team needs more bench.
yeah, exactly.
He's obviously he's out of money, but he needs at least probably he should get up to 15 players if he can.
I mean, that's like I think a lot of these teams, as high as their TV is, means they're not getting, they're not earning much in the way of winnings, and then it's hard to keep a bench going. Like Spider's 11-player team is a great example of that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about keeping you talking there. I heard your voice cracking from how long you were chatting, so I'll try and.
No, that's fine.
All right. So next is Hogster's Scalemates, who, as we've seen before, movement. This is like Spider's team, but like 6 seasons ago or something, maybe 8 seasons ago, when it didn't have as many red crosses. Look at all these lovely leveled block Sauruses, 4 guarders, 2 strengths up. 2 strength ups, 2 mighty blows, 3 tackle.
Look,
everything.
Carmac heard me slagging him off, so he had to join.
Oh, did he?
I'm actually oblivious, so I don't know.
Hey, Carmac. It's been like a roundabout of voices coming in with Ethelred and Galentio starting off.
No, we had a look at your team a short while ago, because we're looking at champs now, and yeah, I mean we said that your team it's probably looking better than it did a couple of seasons ago, but I think it's still slightly underpowered compared to most of the teams in the division.
Well, what can I say? I don't think it's unfair. And I am a complete idiot for not doing a Jimmy Fantastic and not just running away the team in my last game. I just wanted to, not lose. And Ant-Man killed my tackle, wrestle, goat, which would have been nice to have in the division with elves. But oh well.
And yeah,
there's only two elf teams, though, right? Or three? Oh no, 3 elf teams.
2 elf teams, but there's also 2 lizard teams, both of them with blodging Sauruses as well.
Half of the teams, well, over half of my opponents would be upset to see that wrestle tackle guy on the pitch. So
yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of blodge around, right? Even on the non-elf teams. I mean, the lizards have blodging Sauruses as well. I mean, even you, Cornite, have like Blodge Yeti, Blodge Ulf.
Yep. The Chors have 2.
Chors, yeah, Blodge Centaurs. I mean, there's definitely a lot of targets for tackle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, trash can hearted Ant-Man can feel happy with himself.
Although, I mean, it's obviously hurts less to lose that player than it does to lose Clueless Tina, who we love to remind you about.
Yeah, well, listen, with Clueless Tina, the whole season would have been different. That one season I played with you, Danton. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we know.
And every season since as well.
And listen, I tried building. I think I had 2 killers in 2 budding killers die.
Yeah.
Like a mighty blow block guy just died on me, and another one died. It's never gonna happen.
Clearly, you don't protect your mighty blow players well enough. This is the problem. You need to put them behind the wall of your other important players. I don't know, but yeah.
So, but we were saying, I mean, your warrior core is looking pretty solid. Obviously, they're carrying a couple of injuries, but I think your team, if you lose 1 or 2 of those warriors in the first half, you're really going to struggle. You're going to really depend on keeping those warriors on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose yes, that's true. And I am 7 SPP from having a mighty blow beastman now. So, stupid Adrian, go level up.
No longer going mighty blow first on anyone. Always block first.
I have enough Mighty Blow in general to kind of,
Yeah.
they are so limited in utility, just naked goats. I mean, at least I don't like naked goats with just Mighty Blow. It's only when the team has enough teeth to get by. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Mighty Blow first for, leveling faster rather than, the actual removal of opponents, if that makes sense.
Yeah, although it does add more kind of variance, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not terribly willing in on champions level to blitz with guys that's susceptible to 1 in 9s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I don't know what to do here. I guess I just need to have a nice session with Core Knights Armor Value 7 team, and then it should be fine.
I'm sure that's what a lot of the coaches in this division are hoping for. Only one team can actually face me first week, unfortunately. The easy game against the Norse.
then it's even better if Ant-Man manages to take care of your Yeti and I just get a loner instead of that Yeti. That's even better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you do have some decent matchups though. I think in this division, against the lizard teams, I think your team is fairly well placed.
Yeah.
The hardest matchups I think are gonna be Stahlberg, Ant-Man, and that orc team is quite nasty as well.
Andy maybe as well.
And yeah, the Wood Elves might be tricky as well.
Well, Andy's a difficult guy, and by definition, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, so the Dark Elf team is not actually in the division yet, right? There's another Dark Elf team.
So old one. We'll look at them. We've got 4 more teams to look at. Come on, let's get through this before it's 3 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah. So Hogster is the lizard team we were just looking at. Looks really pretty. Looks so much better than Spiders, Lizards. Oh my god, guard everywhere. Couple of stand firm, 2 break tackles.
It is a much better team. I mean, my it's not a concern, but I don't think Hawkster's maybe as good a coach as Spider when it comes to the Lizards, but he definitely has a better team than Spider.
Again, he's prone to tilting based on 2 out of the 2 games I played against him. He's had unfortunate stuff happen and it threw him off. So yeah, I shouldn't, if I'm competitive, I should be saying this, but I think he should work on that. Just focus on being, what's the word? Equanimous?
Oh,
is that the right word?
I don't actually know what that means. I think you mean I don't know how to pronounce it, but
you mean being level-headed, right?
Yes, it means calm and composed. So equanimous, you uneducated fucks.
Yeah.
It's there's just some words that just are not really used anymore. But if you want to pull the dictionary out and just find some random word, then great.
It's a good word. Equanimous? Yeah. Anyway. There you go. Equanimous, maybe? Whatever. I like that word. That's a good word. But anyway.
Latin of origin.
Yeah. Which is why it's a word that no one uses anymore because it's too.
But basically, it's like level-headed, right?
Yeah. And that is, I think that's one of the main skills in Blood Bowl is not tilting off the face of the planet when the dice go wrong, right? Simple.
There are no dice.
There are no dice.
I like this team.
Yes.
I like this team. Is that a niggle on on number 2?
No, just a movement bust.
No.
Oh, number 2.
Number 2. Number 2 is a niggle.
Oh yes, that is a niggle. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Still,
I like that.
Still very healthy as a team, though, right? And strength 5 with a bunch of guard. Like one of the things I don't like about Spider's Lizard team is that he has no guard on any of his Saurus, whereas this is guard on everyone except one, right?
Well, he used to, but I think they got killed, right?
Yeah.
But so it's only the Crocs, is it, on Spider's team?
Yeah, only the Crocs has guard.
Yeah.
Whereas this is every player except one has guard, which I think is great.
Yeah, and three strength 5 pieces, not to be sniffed at.
Yeah, so Exactly.
I would love for this team to start against Ant-Man, and then Stahlberg, or the other way around.
I mean, I think Stahlberg's team would do more, or the Orc team would do more damage to it than Ant-Man's team. Ant-Man only has one Claw Mighty.
Yeah, but there's a lot of dodge as well, right? So Ant-Man's tackle heavy.
Yeah, but this team could dominate Ant-Man's team, I think.
I think it could dominate most of the teams in this division, right? Like,
I mean, any team with Claw can really, like, if Claw just works, Claw Mighty Blow works, it could win the game if you just get good dice. So.
No, but for sure it can. But Ant-Man has literally just one chove with Claw Mighty without piling on. I think he needs more luck for it to kind of, get those removals than some of the other killers.
I mean, the trouble with the other killers is I think the other killing teams don't have as much guard, right?
Well, Stahlberg does.
Yeah,
Stahlberg does, and the Orc. I mean, the Orcs don't have Claw, but the Orc team is quite nasty.
Yeah. Well, still, I like the team. I think the team is still my favorite of the teams so far. But we'll.
Oh, it's a great team.
Okay, let's get on to Brilliant Green. Papa Nasty, except in Russian, and his Orcs. He's lost. He lost. Wait a second. Now he's got 4 Black Orcs.
He's got some money.
And he's got 4 Blitzers. Okay, so he does have 4 Blitzers and 4 Black Orcs. He doesn't have a Troll. He does have a Goblin. And 2 Linemen and a Thrower.
I mean, depending on his first, match day 1, he could buy a Troll.
Yeah, I like Trolls on Orc teams, and I think against the likes of the Claw teams like Carmac and co, I think the extra strength with regen and being quite cheap is well worth it.
Yeah, that's a really mean team, a very annoying team.
9 guard, although one of them is missed next game.
Yeah.
But I think it needs a Troll at this sort of TV level as another kind of guard piece and high strength piece to kind of help combat some of the strong teams.
It's nice that both linemen have guard, in fact. Not sure about the thrower having all these skills. What's that? Is that safe throw? It is safe throw.
As the last one, yeah, that's questionable. It definitely would have been much better off with kickoff return.
He does have 2 Agi 4 players as well, right? So he does have receivers of the kind, which I guess is kind of scary for some people to deal with. But yeah, very scary team to deal with overall, right? And if that guard lineman was in, that would be a 2,200 TV team.
Changed my mind. I wish Stahlberg plays him first.
You just wish that all the bash teams play each other first. That's the plan, right?
He's taken. Yes. Is he taking leap on that Edge 4 Blitzer? He has, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yes, and I think was that he beat Spider, in my opinion, largely because of that leap. Because Spider was counting squares to keep the ball away from the leaper, and then the one turn he didn't ended up the ball getting sacked, and there were a lot of dice involved. But I think the leaper puts. Is going to put the lizards under a lot of pressure. Like tackle, like Agi 4 leap with pride.
Against lizards, it is definitely a useful piece because it's so hard to protect the skinks against that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how useful it'll be against some of the other teams.
Wood elves maybe. It's also got pro, so he gets to reroll. Both the leap and some hits. So it's a threatening choice, right? That's the problem.
I like the fact that it's an out of the box sort of piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not out of the box.
Yeah, no, we know what
off the beaten track.
Yeah.
Anyway, what he could do with that as well is leap into a cage for an assist as well because he's guard. So he can do plenty with that.
Yeah,
it's very, very annoying, I would say.
Yeah, and it's only a 3+, right? So it's
only a 3+.
Only a 3+. I mean, obviously the team's going to spend most of its time basing up and bashing, but dealing with being based up and bashed, but also having the threat of being leapt on is. I
mean,
hard,
it is good that it gives it that unpredictable sort of aspect.
Yeah, the threat is much worse than the application in my
It's like
opinion.
it's the shit of playing against Kislev that, hey, there's a completely outside of the box style of play that's opened up through Leap with guard. I mean, it's really, really annoying because imagine you base up the cage with Black Orcs, and then it's quite easy to open up a cage corner and then jump in with guard and then blitz. Just very, very annoying team, I would say. Very annoying.
And a jump up blitzer as well, which jump up killer. Which I've seen him use, like jump up to move corners around too.
And a couple of blodge blitzers as well. I mean, it's very...
What tools is he lacking other than the troll? Even the troll is debatable.
Yeah.
Troll is debatable, but I think it's really... I mean, you could have another fodder kind of lineman or something, but really that's about it.
Yeah. I personally, I see the troll as better than a fodder lineman, right? You're paying twice as much, but you're getting a player who's way stronger and on the pitch and regens, and you don't care about, so you don't need to protect him or worry about him, but he's he's a good player to let get punched.
And it's only gonna increase his TV by 50k as well.
Yeah, I like the troll. Anyway, that leaves us with 2 more teams. So I think they're both going to be in this league, which is Andy's Wood Elves. As soon as Blood Bowl is willing to react to me, Justice Philippe, or hashtag Justice Philippe, which is a name derived from the fact that he refused to play Kislev for quite some time. Guard Grab, multi-block, Tree Man, which is kind of okay. It's like you're running out of good choices, right?
Well, I mean, I have seen
yeah,
that multi-block getting him into trouble, at least on one or two occasions, because it's so tempting to take the 2 hits and then, oh look, 1 in 9, rather than taking the 3D hit.
Conversely, I've seen a 1 turn that he made only because he was able to make 2 blocks with a tree. So he
No, isn't that the one that he almost made?
Oh yeah, he didn't actually make it. Yeah, he failed it.
Yeah,
but
he didn't actually make it, but he managed to do like something that you shouldn't be able to do, basically, because of it.
But like getting to see big brain plays like that is worth taking multi-block and the risk occasionally, in my opinion.
I don't know. I just think that tree should have something. I mean,
like Blood Bowl's a puzzle game where you're trying to work out how to do stuff, and that is a hilarious answer to puzzles is great, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
But obviously, I think the 3 real star players are the plus movement, plus strength, frenzy, strip, tackle, sidestep legend.
The War Dancer, to me, is the undeniable, star of the team.
Kratos.
Yeah, good luck putting anywhere, especially against Andy next to the sideline.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Obviously.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, clears the sidelines for him quite nicely, and also like we were talking before about a movement 6, strength 3, agi 4 player being a leaping threat, but this is like twice as much of a threat, isn't it?
It's like that on steroids.
Yeah, much better.
I mean, the only sort of iffy part is that sleeping on a 3, but everything else is amazing.
Yeah. And also backed up by Killjoy, the tackle, but that's fine. Just starting out. Yeah, the other one died. I forgot what.
I mean,
was the other one Agi 5? I have a feeling the other one was Agi 5, which might have been.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I mean, he's lost a lot of catchers, right? So these 2 catchers have been kind of rebuilt, I think, over the last couple of seasons. But they're both
these catchers are newish. Weblin got strength not very long ago, and Cruel got the movement up not very long ago either. So
I mean, strength is always debatable, isn't it, on a Wood Elf catcher?
I do not like the strength on the catcher. It's
a lot of people would rather have another guard than the strength.
Yeah, and I really don't like strength and then block, because I really don't understand what this player is really bringing to the team with that skill selection.
I mean, but he looks like the main ball carrier, right?
Yeah, he does. But you're paying 180k for something that is only slightly better than well, in fact, it's worse than a War Dancer with sure hands for.
So the second, well, when we got Carmac is actually who claims to be a Wood Elf coach above everything else, even though we know secretly he's a closet basher. But basically,
look me up on Spike, please.
I know well. We know.
so easy to get a rise out of him. Carmac, second War Dancer, sidestep or strip ball at this stage, in the team's life.
Sidestep.
Yeah.
One strip ball is enough of a threat. Like strip ball that reaches anything with strength 4 is like, why would you get more?
I've got an answer for why would you get more, and that is because Wood Elves get MNG'd a lot. So having a backup stripper
I just think Blodgestep is more valuable, especially because of just most teams are going to be carrying on sure hands anyway. At this TV level.
Yeah, fair.
But do you agree, Carmac, about would you take strength on a catcher or would you take guard?
I have never taken strength on a catcher. This, by the way, doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It just means I played nearly 1,000 games and I'd never done that. So
nearly 1,000 games. 1,363 Wood Elf games you have played.
There we go.
So yeah, you do have twice as many Wood Elf games as Chaos, to be fair. But Chaos is your second most played race.
Correct.
So but anyway, there you go. And I showed your Spike page for anyone who wants to screenshot it or something, or look it up yourself. Anyway, so I hate the strength up. I think it's terrible. I did take it once, and I don't think you get value out of it. Even in a long form league like OCC, I don't think it's worth the TV and opportunity cost of a skill slot, in my opinion. And I think if you do take the strength up, you don't go block sure hands. You go wrestle, and you build a wrestle stripper as a third war dancer type threat. As a fallback, but I don't think they're worth it. I think they're terrible. I think you should get guard. Guard's better, but it's fine because he just rolled guard on the other one instead. Who the other catcher, who is in fact movement up, guard, agi, and sure feet.
I mean, that's obviously his one turning piece now.
Yeah.
And just needs one push. So, it's obviously a big threat. I mean, the only thing having guard on it, I mean, he used to have the one turn catcher who was like a really weird.
His previous one turner rolled a normal first and he took kick. And then he got a double, so he got guard, and then he got movement up. So he had this,
and then he got a second double and took Nerves of Steel, and it was just one of those just pieces that you just look at it and you go, "What the hell is that?" And then thankfully for him, someone killed it. But yeah, I mean this piece is not quite there yet. But I mean the only questionable thing is having the guard. Obviously, guard is amazing, but on your one turn piece, if you're sticking that in somewhere where the guard is being useful, you're obviously putting it in danger typically.
I mean, to be fair, his team...
I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying it does add that dimension, right?
He's been stuck on 11 players for some time, and not able to get a bench. Whenever he's got a bench, it's died pretty quickly. This player is on the pitch whether you like it or not, right? And if he's going to be on the pitch, then him having guards to be more useful, I think, is great. And the agi up makes it even more scary, right? It is scary though, and those catchers are going to die. I guess that is one of the plus points of taking plus strength on a catcher is, the strength 2 means more 3 dies, whereas strength 3
exactly. It's going to be harder to 3 die. Yeah, that's true.
But 180 TV for something that is only a bit better, I'm not so much of a fan of. He also has Pageant of Inertia, the plus strength guard, blodge, kick lineman, who's unfortunately MNG'd for the first game of the season.
Yeah, and move bust.
Yeah,
but it's a great piece.
Yeah, and then a smashing of linemen, one of who is dirty player and sneaky kit. which I've seen cause Andy problems by being sent off, even though it's got sneaky hit, because sneaky hit is a garbage skill.
When I played against it, it fucking took out half my team, that piece, thanks to a kickoff event which gave him a free bribe, and it just went on a fouling rampage. And I actually in his last game against Kielstad, I think he even saved it from death with his Appo, so he clearly, is attached to this piece.
I think did he? Jesus, that's mental. I do not agree with that at all. Like sneaky git does so little. Like dodge would be so much better, or block to keep them on the pitch. I do not like sneaky git, but he does foul with it a bit more because he has it. But man, like when you're fouling and you're breaking armor, you've still got so much chance to get sent off. It irritates me. Anyway, and the last team that we're going to look at is the old one. Yeah. Let's see if I can search for old. Will that work? Yes, it will. Bam! Old one BB. Another Dark Elf team.
As long as you don't say Birmingham, then we're all good.
Well, I mean, we will say Birmingham quite often, but today I won't bother because Ethel's not here. Anyway, 2 Agi 5 players. One of them's the Leaping Runner, who still doesn't have block. Agi 5, dodge, leap, pass, sure feet.
Safe. Isn't that safe? Is that safe throw or pass?
No, that is pass. They don't start. They start with dump off, but not pass. So he'd be mentally.
No, I know, but the icon is quite similar.
They are very similar, yeah. So the safe throw one has like a swirly thing around it, like it's protected by a barrier. But the picture of the ball is exactly the same.
I mean, it's still a great piece, right? It doesn't have block, sure, so you need to protect it, but it's still. When I played against him, he very nearly scored a one-turn touchdown with this piece. He got all 4 pushes, and just failed the leap because he'd run out of rerolls. But it's actually a very good ball distributor, right?
Yeah. Well, without rerolls, isn't a dodge better than a? Anyway, yeah. Assuming you ran out of the dodge reroll as well. The dodge. Anyway.
Well, I think the dodge might have been from tackle, so he leapt.
Okay, and another example of why you don't take kick first. We have a kick, guard, agi, dodge player. Which imagine if that was block, that would be so much better, and you wouldn't.
Imagine how many games he controlled with that kick.
Yeah, but you can get kick at the end rather than the beginning, or someone who rolls worse can get.
You
kick.
don't get to control all those games until you get the kick.
Yeah, I agree. I think kick is not that good, but fine. We clearly disagree on that.
Kick is amazing.
Kick is obviously better for some teams than others, right? But elf teams do like to have kick.
They do. I do think that you don't get as much control as you think you're getting, because a lot of the time the ball ends up in an extreme position, or it would be in a more extreme position if you weren't kicking, like by not selecting the middle and getting a 6. There's 1 in 6 chance it's going to be on an extreme corner anyway. Whereas when you have kick, you select a place further in, and that means so I think the perceived value of kick is greater than the actual value, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the fact that you can basically kick deep or kick short, right? With a reasonable amount.
I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying it's like I'm not like I think like Sneaky Git was terrible. I just think it's good, but it's not picking first skill good.
I mean, when I had kick
on Dark Elves,
I had kick on my human team had kick for a long time until my kicker eventually died, and I haven't been able to stick kick on anyone else since then. And I definitely miss not having kick quite a lot, because especially the other team, for example, has 2 turns to score back. You kick deep and you're already making it harder for them to score in 2 turns, or on a normal drive you often kick short and you get that blitz or perfect defense, whatever, and you can really make their drive so much harder.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I have kick on a Norse lineman, right, as the second skill. But like here in this one example, and where you've got like what, so 5 players here where they could, well, sorry, 4 players where they could have taken kick as a second skill, rather than first, is what I'm saying. Because if you take it as a first skill and then you get lots of actual better rolls, you end up with, you know, a kind of weird selection of skills, in my opinion. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
at the same time. So no, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. But the fact that this guy, I mean, so you don't want your kicker on the line of scrimmage, and the fact that he has got these other, you know, good skills, that's doubly so. You don't want him on the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
at least it works together with that.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, so he has 3 guarders. One of them's Agi 5 and one of them's Strength 4, with not much other protection skills. One is a dodger, but no block or wrestle on either of them.
So only one. I think to me, what stands out with this team is only one witch.
Yeah, and she's got all normals, but I don't hate it. What? So you?
No, I'm just saying that, you know, typically at this TV, you'd expect the Dark Elf team to have 2 witches. But you know, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing to only have 1 witch. It's just, you know, that kind of stands out.
Yeah. Especially with a runner as well, like.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
his blitzers, hang on. All right, the top one is a blitzer, right? So
Yeah, so he's got 1 blodge blitzer at the top, and then the other 3 are all further down. All have blodge. One's got guard, blodge, step, tackle. One has got extra movement and tackle, mighty blow, and dauntless. Which I normally dislike dauntless, but I think in that place, I think he's your blitzer, right?
I would have preferred sidestep to dauntless there, but I mean, I like you say, I can understand it, but I just think sidestep is all round better than dauntless.
And Dark Elves are one of those teams that you know, have blanket, strength 3, and not access to guard. So I think dauntless makes even more sense on this team than some other teams. And like, he is your main hitter, so giving him the ability to hit stronger players on a dice roll is not terrible when you need it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not terrible. I don't know. I just love blanket blodge step, so you know, it's 1 less blodge stepper.
Yeah, he's got 4, which is, you know.
Yeah, but you know, Dark Elves, the more you have of it, the better it is.
But yeah, and 3 guarders is nice, right?
Yeah, it's a solid team. I mean, you know, not a huge amount to say about it. I mean, last season he finished top 4, so he's definitely the makeup of this division this season is not too bad for him. I don't think. Probably the hardest team for him to face is probably the Orc team.
Maybe the Lizards, or do you think? I guess he's got the leap, right? Did he have leap?
I mean, Lizards are not a terrible matchup for Dark Elves because, you know, they can get to hit the skinks more easily than other teams can. And you know, especially, he's got a leaper who can, although the leaper is not really a ball sacker.
No, he's not a ball sacker. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think he has a terrible matchup against the Lizards. The Orcs are really hard for this team to face, I think.
So I guess
and the chaos is not bad because there isn't that much tackle.
So are we at the point where we're going to look at the teams and say who's finishing first, second, and third of those teams, right? Do we think this is finally the season? Do you think Andy's going to win this season?
I'm going to say no.
But who then? It's a hard choice, obviously. Like, all of these coaches. Would it be easier to start with who the losing team is going to be? So I'm pretty sure I can guess who both of you are going to pick. Or maybe that's an assumption based on streaming with Ethelred too much.
I mean, I guess it's going to come down to, are you really going to cement the notion of the core knight position, you know, forever? that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, I feared this was going to to lead into that way, but
I'll be honest. Looking at all those lineups, I go, holy shit, what an annoying team! Holy shit, what an annoying team! Except one team. Except one team, and I really hope I get them first. So I need that killer.
I mean, there is a part of me, Cornai, believe it or not, that's rooting for you.
yeah,
Because Norse in this environment, I mean, if you do well, I think that's amazing. But then reality kicks in, and you think, well, can you do well? It's a big ask.
it is a big ask. I don't know. I think the Lizard games are the ones might be all right at. I think there's going to be a lot of draws, right? Looking at these teams, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to stall into draws. It's not going to take much for one team to come out front, and that's why it's going to be hard to judge who's going to. Oh my god! I do not want to come last. I so care about not coming last. You can well imagine, I guess.
You can definitely beat the Lizard teams. You can beat the Elf teams.
Yeah.
I think where you're going to really struggle is against the Chaos, the Orcs, the Chorfs, and maybe the Necro.
I don't mind Chorfs as well. The Chorfs are not too bad. It's the Orcs are one of my least favorite matchups.
Yeah,
I don't mind
Orcs and the
like the Chaos.
Well, I guess the Claw is not that bad against
Yeah.
it, but still, it's it's all the guard and the strength though.
Yeah.
And the mighty blow.
But I'll have a wizard and some bribes and maybe Cheney, or wizard and Cheney and maybe some bribes, whichever way it works out. So we will see. I put MB Carmac as putting me as the loser. Should I put you as well, Danton?
I really don't want to. I mean, amazing as that sounds. The question is, if I don't put you, it's really hard to pick someone else.
Yeah.
To be honest. All right, go on. I'll put me down for you as well.
I'm fine with that.
But begrudgingly, it's not. To me, it's not the. I don't want to pick you last, but I think I have to.
Yeah, I get it. I'm gonna pick Javelin for last.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, top three. Come on, name your top three. Basically, pick random names. Could almost work, right?
Oh, Carmac, where are you picking yourself, Carmac?
He obviously has to pick himself first, right?
I'm not picking myself anywhere.
Ah.
You might have noticed, you might not have noticed in predictions, but I always pick a tie in predictions for myself. So, I think I usually end up fourth in champions. So let's put me down as fourth.
Okay. What? Who is your top three though?
Top three. In order or generally?
In order, ideally, but you can start with generally if it helps. Like sort your mind out.
So I'd say Andy Davo. I'd say Papa Nasty. A really annoying team. And I'd say the Dark Elves, the Birmingham.
Oh, okay. I thought
What's the order?
I thought Old One looked, but fine. Maybe that's interesting.
I'll go for Andy, even though I want to beat the living shit out of him. I'll go for Andy.
Yeah. And second
place, Papa Nasty.
Okay. Cool.
And then third place,
Old One.
Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham. Lol. Danton, do you want to go next, or shall I go next?
Sure, I can go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Papa Nasty first. I
Okay.
think the division is nicely set up for that team to do well. Second, I'm gonna go with Andy Davo coming second again.
Is that because you want it rather than what you believe in?
I
A
just
bit
think
of
the
both.
orcs are. No, I mean he's, in Blood Bowl 2, he's won champs 4 times already. I mean, it's not like he needs to win it anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think he might struggle a little bit this season compared to last season. But he's still good enough to come in the top 3. Third place is tough. I think I'm going to go with Carmack in third.
Ooh.
That's so generous of you. Thank you.
I don't know. I just think that there's. I think a lot of teams could suffer attrition in this season, and you might just.
And you've already suffered it, so you're in the back.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're going to be immune to the attrition, but that might favor you in some of the matchups. Playing teams that have suffered some attrition. But I don't know. I think you generally have some good strategies in your games, and you can probably navigate the division to get a top 3 place.
I'd be more confident if I had a Mighty Blow tackle guy.
Yeah.
That's really something I like. Obviously, Mighty Blow tackle, piling on, claw, that type of thing. But Mighty Blow tackle in this division would make a gigantic difference for me, and I don't have that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be very, very reliant on dice, and obviously that means I'll have to get lucky to get good results.
Yeah, just roll pounds. It's easy.
Yeah.
And in fact, looking at these teams, that's maybe 2 weeks before the end, I'd be able to give a really good guess who's going to be top 3. But before that, it's a crapshoot, isn't it?
You know what? I think it's actually fairer to look at the schedule and then pick the winners, because like if somebody plays, if the two, let's say, ultra bash teams play each other first, that might actually influence outcomes quite strongly.
Yeah.
Last season in 1A, I played Chaos and Chorf as my last 2 games, and I locked up the advancement before I got to play them. So the calendar has a lot to do with how you finish.
I mean, and a certain amount of randomness as well, right? So like you can lose your best player against Andy's Wood Elves, right? He's not, part of being a good coach is also taking a lot of hits and getting hits on good players, right?
Well, especially the fact that he has a dedicated fowler as well can obviously do that too.
And surfing is pretty scary
and
too, right?
Surfing is a thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, what we can do is maybe let's just make our predictions now, and then with the option to revise them when the schedule comes out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if people want to do that. I'm fine with that. We won't know what the schedule is until I think at least Saturday evening or Sunday. But we could have a look into it then, I guess. We might next week. So we're gonna do like a fantasy football thing, right? And we were before you came on, Danton. We were talking about how we're going to do that, and maybe we'll have a show next week where we're looking more at the fantasy football stuff than the league, because obviously next week no round will have been rolled. We've already looked at the teams. Maybe we can look at the matchups a little bit, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go for Ant-Man in third.
Okay.
Can you get to third with so many ties?
Yes, if everyone gets loads of ties, you never know. He might actually win a game, right?
I mean, he already won the champs with this team like 3 seasons ago. He started tying games after that.
Yeah.
So.
It was the season after he won it, right, where he got 8 ties. And the meme is maybe stronger than the reality. I mean, there are always lots of ties at the top anyway, right? Because good teams tie against each other often, right? A tie is probably the most likely.
Good. I think it's more like good coaches.
Good coaches.
Good
that's what I meant by good team.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, as a slightly left field thing, I'm going because I like how pretty and new Hawkster's team looks. I'm going to pick Orgster as second. Although I fully expect it to be wrong. Oh god, I can't write.
I mean, the team is great, so
Yeah.
you know it's definitely in with a chance.
And obviously, I'm winning this season, so I'll put myself as first.
Kiss of death. Okay.
Well, that way, also, I saved myself from kissing of death anyone else, right? So, there we are. Assured of the corner position, I think, by doing that.
Yeah, I think exactly. You've just guaranteed it now.
But there you go. All right, we're done. It's been like 3.5 hours for me, so while everyone else has rotated in and out.
Yep.
Okay.
We are done.
So
Nice one. So you're gonna be streaming your games, Carmac?
Probably not.
No?
Okay.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Simple as that.
But what about you, Cornite? You gonna try and stream most of them?
Yeah, I think I will. I've been enjoying streaming recently, and do you think you won't, Carmac, because you think it makes you play worse and you want to try harder?
Yeah, it's taxing on the brain.
Yeah.
You just you play with a tax that I'm not sure I want to incur.
I mean, for me, actually, the 4-minute turns, I think, make
It's
like
3-minute turns.
No, it's 4
No,
minutes.
4.
It's 4.
OCC is 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do I remember
mean-
3? Never mind.
Like, because you should be playing in 3 minutes anyway, unless you're. Anyway, no, it's fine. If you want to take 4 minutes, they can take 4 minutes. It's entirely within their rights.
I mean, the 4-minute turns are basically long enough that where you normally don't even need to look at how much time is left, basically.
I mean, 4 minutes turns is long enough for me to go away and cook some dinner during my opponent's turns. Sometimes, just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I very, very rarely would use like close to the 4 minutes, but you know, sometimes you have a very hard turn where you just you want to go through your options.
Yeah. Against Vamps, maybe. I think it's fair.
Oh, I'm so happy Shellstad is not there anymore.
Yeah.
I've played him plenty of times, never once beat him.
Yeah, really?
I actually don't mind playing. I mean, we were talking about it before because he's in one of the other divs that we recap. And with my humans, I played him 3 times, 1-1, draw 1, lost 1. And I actually enjoy playing against this team. It's kind of it just feels kind of fun because there's so much going on.
I do like the stress of vampires. I think it's a really good game. I like Blood Bowl not just being caging up and safety.
But
I like the
I'm
randomness.
saying that as humans against vamps, where I think humans have maybe some, because of the speed, they have maybe more options than like a chaos team does against vamps, where you're more limited by your movement.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So that's it, right? Done.
Done.
And I'm going to.
So I think the other big challenge is going to be when going back to the fantasy football topic, when we actually get together for a draft, right? That's going to be tough.
So Ethel and I were talking before we started streaming. I don't think it's a real issue to tell the 8 people who are still here. But what Ethel was talking about is doing a kind of offline, a bidding first, and then just doing kind of a wrap up of getting together and streaming for half an hour afterwards. So we open the bidding at midday or something, and then at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. or something, we go through and close the bids, one by one. And if people want to make it, they can, and if they can't make it, then we just live with that, because it is probably too hard to get all 8 of us to actually be in a room together. But this way, if you bid a certain amount and it's high enough, then it's high enough, right? Does that make sense?
And what is it?
Yeah.
Do you just select a player from any of the teams in the division?
Yes, so it's all going to be all championship players. It's going to be a bit like fantasy football, where so it's like fantasy football but with a bidding process. So we go around
Like American fantasy football.
So actually, there was when fantasy football first started, there was like one version which was like a newspaper version that thousands of people would join, and in that each player was assigned a value, and then you built your players by buying a certain budget worth of team. But there was a TV version. The TV version had a bunch of coaches together in a room, and rather than assigning certain players values, obviously they're going to start with their base TV value in Blood Bowl. We're going to say you can't bid under their base TV value, but after that it's going to be a bidding war where hopefully the valuable players' value will be pushed up by multiple people wanting them. So
how much TV do we get to spend?
It is going to be
14.
Was it 14?
1400 was it?
Yeah, 14. 1,000.
So obviously, you don't have to buy re-rolls it's just player value, right?
Yeah.
And then how do they score points, SPP?
So in the Spike bot every week, or on Spike the match.
Those points. Okay.
Yeah, there's
the impact points.
Impact points. Yeah, that's the ones. So we rarely look at the impact points, but I'm randomly selecting a Spike report from you, in fact, Carmac, because that's where I was in Spike when I last looked. If I can stop clicking the wrong button. And across the bottom of that, as well as what one team got and the other team got. Oh, you were playing Chaos. I thought you would. Anyway, the third tab is impact. So every player who does something gets a point for number of blocks. So it's like 1 point for every 4 blocks, and 2 points for a kill, and 1 point for running the ball for 10 yards or something like that. So most actions that influence the game have a point value, so lots of players, even the lineman, will gain some points for the occasional block they make.
I see.
Yeah. But obviously, if you're a ball carrying player or a killer who's blitzing all the time, those players get way more points usually. But there you
Understood.
go. Yeah. So we're going to try. So we're trying this out. Like the impact points actually come from Rebel. Like the guy who did the first bot, Schleiss, started a Rebel fantasy football league, and then when the Spike bot got created, they just carried over those impact points more or less verbatim, and now we're trying to fix it into them. Also, at the same time, and in no way related, although I did talk to Nolly about it to help him start up. Nolly is running a CCL fantasy football. Or a Chalice fantasy football, I should say.
Chalice, yeah.
Where you pick
that's
players.
I think that's already started.
Yeah, it has. It started on Saturday before the teams were drawn. Everyone had to pick their players. Was it Saturday?
But there, with his one, obviously, there was no bidding process, right? It was like anyone,
it's a fixed value.
So, anyone can take the same players if they want to.
Yeah. And also he's got very different rules in terms of. So we've got your highest 11 players get points. Whether you don't have to do any swapping in and out of players, but if you have more than 11 players, we'll pick the best 11. Whereas with Ollie, he's got a system of like your bench gets half their points, and your you can highlight a certain number of players as well to get double their points.
Yeah.
So you influence whether they're positionals or bench players, and that affects how many points.
What I think is quite interesting about the format is picking, in some cases, like more like rookies or players who are up and coming that could have a lot of value in terms of that some coaches trying to sort of focus SPP generation on those players.
Yeah, definitely.
As opposed to, obviously some stars are just going to naturally keep accumulating SPP because they're being used a lot. And the other thing worth mentioning, which I don't think you did, is we can actually bid for star players as well as part of this. So if you think, like for example, Core Knight's team is probably going to have Cheney on speed dial, you could actually bid for Cheney. We haven't. So One other caveat: you cannot bid if you are participating in champs. You cannot bid for any players on your own team. So, for example, Spider would not be able to take Sundrop on his team. But I wonder, Corna, I guess this is a bit of a loophole because you could take Cheney and have him on your team, even
And
though
then
he's not part of
farm touchdowns on him.
Yeah, farm touchdowns on Cheney and then win.
I hadn't really thought about that. I don't think star players are worth taking. But maybe this is the one case where they might be. Cheney or even Bomber. Like, I'll be taking Bomber every home game regardless, right?
Yeah.
Except maybe against the Orcs. Oh no, wait, they're not the same player. No, wait. So
I wonder how it calculates Bomber's impact points. Does it actually give you points for knocking players down with his bomb?
No, I don't think it does. No, I bet you Bomber doesn't get very many points at all. So
well, then he's not going to get a lot of points. Yeah, where Cheney can obviously do a lot of kind of actions that could give him points.
I mean, for a 60k player, Bomber might be okay. If there were more dwarves or teams that could pick him other than just my Norse, but yeah, just Norse, no.
60k or 10k.
Yeah, but he's going to be 60k on in the fantasy football, isn't he?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Interesting though. Maybe Cheney is worth bidding on. Maybe if you want to put a bid on him and you want to risk either, I am not going to bring him up for bidding, but it is a hilarious idea.
But I mean, I think if any star player is worth considering, he's probably the main one. I doubt any other star player is probably worth it, except like you say, Bomber maybe. But
I'm literally the lowest TV and have the Nuffle altar, and I still don't think Cheney is worth getting for myself.
Yeah.
I don't think Cheney is definitely the only player the only star player that's worth bidding on. It'll be interesting if someone else bids on him. Maybe I'll throw a bid in. It'll be funny, but I'm not planning on it.
Yeah. So hang on. You said, when is it likely that we're going to do the bidding process?
We haven't really we were talking about Spider about it as well, because Spider's done a lot of work, so we don't want to make the decision without Spider. But we were vaguely talking about Friday or something. But I would actually. So Ethelred was talking about we don't finalize it until next Wednesday, and then we do Wednesday show where we're doing the fantasy football close down type thing. But I don't like the idea of missing games at the beginning of the season. I think if we're doing it slightly offline, then I think we can accept. It's more reason to get it done before the games actually start, if that makes sense. But I also do think we need to wait until all 10 teams are in, because I know it's pretty likely that Old One and Andy are playing. But just in case Old One hasn't put his team in because actually something's happened and he's about to send a message to OCC that actually can't play this season, I'd rather we had the 10 teams who are actually in being who we bid for, yeah? Does that make sense? So I definitely want to wait until that before we start bidding. And I think, a day or half a day where it starts, early-ish American time and ends late-ish European time should cover, enough hours for all of us to get bids in.
And I think so. For Carmac's benefit, I think though, this is the first time we're doing it, so we had like a limited number of places, right? So I don't think there's actually space for someone else if they want to join.
Yeah, at the moment we're sticking with 8 players, and we probably have a ninth coach who really wanted to do it, but he didn't actually say yes at the right time.
Okay, but I don't know, Carmac, if you're interested. We might be able to slot you in, but there's just that to bear in mind.
Yeah. How interested are you?
Please do. Please put me at least first reserve or something.
Yeah.
Because it sounds much more fun than just predicting stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, the intention is to expand it to possibly having all the players in champs and tier 1, and having obviously a bigger list of players.
So this season is kind of proof of concept. It's kind of just trying out a rule set. But I think the biggest challenge is going to be the bidding process and coordinating that. Once that's done, then hopefully it should kind of just run by itself.
Yeah, that is the plan. And I'm writing a bot to automate lots of the points gathering and stuff as well. So hopefully, my bot writing will get better, and also we won't need to actually do much real work during the season. Is the plan. Where real work would be copying and pasting from Spike, the website, onto a spreadsheet. But yeah, that's the plan. But yeah, cool. After all that, I'm going to raid. Are we happy now? We'll talk about anything else?
Yep.
Cool.
We're done.
All right, so the people who are available to watch at the moment are Misspelled Tree is on with a bunch of viewers. Christons is on with a bunch of viewers. Seabrawls is doing his Chalice game. I was going to raid... I think I'm going to raid Seabrawls because he's doing a Chalice game.
Am I right in saying that Miss Peltry is actually in real life a football journalist?
Is she? I'm unaware of that. I met her in real life, but I don't know what her job is or anything. Why do you think?
Because I saw a BBC documentary that was talking about the whole Premier League, not the Premier League. When they tried to do the Super League, or what was it called? Where the European teams tried to form their own sort of breakaway league.
It was called the Super League, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it the Super League?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. European Super League, ESL, which happens to be the company I work for. ESL. Electronic Sports League.
There was so one of the journalists that they interviewed on this, this is just something I randomly turned on the BBC, and one of the journalists was called Nikki Bandini.
Yeah.
Who I understand used to be a man and became a woman. And I mean, I was just looking at the interview, and it's like, it's Misspelled Tree. Now, I mean, look up Nikki Bandini on Google, but it looked like it's the same person.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, it might not be. They might just look very similar.
I mean, but the voice was exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the Guardian football podcast, and I don't think so. Not that it matters, but yeah.
No, it doesn't. No, this is just out of curiosity. I mean, I was struck by the similarity. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's interesting if it is the same person. But anyway, I don't want to raid her anyway. I'm raiding Seabrawls because it's he's doing his Chalice game. So I will do that now. All right, but there are also Artemis is up playing as well, and No Grizz and Croupy, both good streamers if you are speaking their language. I don't think they're Russian and Spanish, I think, and a bunch of others, including a French coach called Mr. Now. Anyway, goodbye. I'm raiding. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.